Welcome to week 2. So if you've made it this far, I'm very, very happy and I'm very excited for you because you've slowly started to adapt the 1%er mindset. Now, here's a catch to this. Before you continue into week 2, we need to make sure that you are fully adapting every single trait, focus mechanism, and detail that I spoke about in week 1. Meaning, if you do not have your shit together, these tactics as how to approach that I'm about to show you throughout week 2 is going to fail. You see, in order to use all of these tactics that I'm about to tell you, because that's what this week is focused on. This week is focused and centered specifically on how to approach a female coming from a strong, congruent, masculine standpoint, and the ways and the measures to really separate yourself from the other 99% of men that are shy, timid, nervous, and do not know what to do. So in order to get this dialed in, you have to be using every single mechanism that we talked about in week 1, meaning if your masculine energy, drive, and focus is not there, this is not going to work. If you're not taking care of your body, your fitness, and your health, this is not going to work. If you have money issues, if you are low on finances, if you have things that you're insecure about, if you have things that is putting a chink in your armor, your confidence will not be up to par. So when I give you all of these great tactics, when I give you all of these step-by-step processes and measurable things to actually go about it, whether it be in the day approaching a woman, in the night approaching a woman, or just making sure you have every single set boundary and trait that you need to make sure you get XYZ result that you pick, you need to be doing the work. So if you have not started doing the work, you need to go back to week 1. You need to build your body. You need to capitalize on these things. You need to make yourself a man first. Because if we re-enter the dating field without fixing the man first, the problem is that you're going to keep running into the exact same problems over and over and over. So let's dive right into week 2. How to approach, how to have a masculine approach, and how to make sure that she stays interested and you're the one leading the outcome. Hi everybody, Casey Zander here, and in today's module we're going to be discussing the action items for week 2. So if you're a man and you have completed week 2 of this training, these are the 4 things that I need you to start doing. Number 1, I need you to approach one girl every day for 14 days. And the reason why I am picking this number is because I find this to be the perfect number that it takes to numb your brain on being in a scarcity mindset, being scared of rejection, being scared of failure. Okay, essentially what I'm trying to do here is I'm giving you permission to fail at the beginning, because when you start something new like this, it will feel dull, it will feel awkward, and you will feel almost insane. What you have to remember is that this equals growth. Okay, so allow the conversations to have no agenda, and at minimum, just say hi to a woman. Okay, there's women everywhere, so don't give me that excuse. There's women at the grocery store, the shopping mall. There's women when you're walking down to Costco. There's women at bars. There's women at restaurants. There's women all over the place. Even if it's a coworker, just say hi. Okay, approach one new female every day for 14 days. Okay, number 2. We are removing the default lower value mindset. As a man, you are the strong leader. You take charge and you do not place your value lower than anyone else's in this world. Okay, not only do you deserve a quality companion, but it is your duty to find her. Which is why in week 2, I need this to be ingrained in your spirit that you're a man who likes women, who naturally wants to talk to women, due to the fact that you deserve it. And when you give yourself that excuse and that mindset, and you think of that every day when you wake up, it makes it so much easier because you're now actually priming your body, you are priming your subconscious for victory. Okay, number 3, when you're starting off doing this, I need you to choose locations you enjoy. So every single day, pick a location you're used to going. If high pressure clubs and bars overwhelm Hi, everybody. Prime example. This is why you have to get into the Facebook group. One of our members, Taiwan, today, he asked a very, very important question. If you want to go back and look at this post, I'll give you a summary here. Our member, Taiwan, met a woman at the gym. He goes, when I say there was a lot of flirting, I mean, it was because she pointed out that I didn't even know her name and I was getting ready to leave and all this stuff. Okay, but essentially they had really, really, really good chemistry. Okay? They had good chemistry. And then he asked for a number at the end of it. They talked for like 10 minutes. Okay, you guys can read this below. Classic example of why self-belief is freaking everything. Now, at the end of the interaction, she goes, no, you can't have my number. You can only have my Instagram. She goes, you can just follow me on Instagram and we can talk there. So even though he met her in real life, talked to her for a solid 10 minutes, warmed her up, got a gist of her personality, she got a gist of his personality, she still said no. She still gave him a big flat out no. Now, if you're wondering why she gave him a no, it's specifically because she is trying to test him to see if he is what he says he is. Now, here's what happens. When a guy has really good words, okay, when the words are so good that the verbiage is everything, that this is like a plus and he's on point, a lot of times they will try to test this man even harder because she's going to go, oh shit, this motherfucker right here has game. He's good with women, G-A-M-E. So then she's going to test you even harder and goes, well, damn, is this guy actually what he says he is? Can he get over my test? So she goes, no, you can just have my Instagram. You got my Instagram right here. And he didn't know what to do, so he just played along with it, and he goes, yeah, I guess that's cool, like, you know, I'll reach out to you on Instagram. Basically, here's what I told him. I go, man, I don't know how I missed this topic last night. I go, in short, this was a test. If you are really, she was testing to see if you really are what you say you are, such as smooth or confident, and what she did to do this is she gave you an objection. So even though she found him attractive, even though she was attached to him through the interaction and they had good chemistry, she still gave an objection. She still said no. She still said, hey, I'm going to throw this curveball at him. And I go, how a man is able to handle an objection or a test will show her if you can maintain the ability to keep high value or if you will break. Now, he broke. I'm not reprimanding him. I'm just showing you guys like exactly how you can do this better. I go, so when she said, I don't give my number out, the best way to handle would to be to create scarcity and urgency in her, to want to make her give you the number. I go, do not play into her Instagram game. Fellas, this is what you got to remember. When she tries to test you, the test means that she's trying to take control. So if you see one of these, you see a test, this means that she's trying to move into her masculine energy. She's trying to see if she can lead you and if you're going to follow her. If you do that, you fail. Okay, because now you're letting her take control of the situation, and it's going to be a great big fail. So instead, what I told him to do, the better way to handle this, I go, when she says that, when she goes, hey, yeah, you can have my Instagram, smile and say, honey, this isn't my first rodeo. Okay, obviously I can tell you like me and we would probably get along. I don't do Instagram, so this is your only chance to make something happen. Meaning when you tell her this is your only chance to make something happen, you say, hey, I'm only taking the digits, and this is a one-time opportunity. Think of a salesman. This is a one-time deal. This offer is only available right now. If you come back to me, this is going to be $5,000 more. That's what you're doing. You're creating scarcity plus urgency. And you say, no, I'll take the phone number, but you're playing my game. Okay, I'm not feeding into this little Instagram game. If not, I'm moving on. So this is your chance. Get it while it's hot. Get a taste of Taiwan while it's hot, okay? You get what I'm saying? So I go, this will 100% come up in real life. This is a test that all men will come across. The man who she can get to play into her game will lose in the long run. So never play into a woman's game. Okay, this is what I mean. How do you pass her test? How do you remain masculine? You do this by, number one, leading. You always want to lead the interaction. Number two, when she throws a test like that at you, what you can do is you can stand firm. Stand firm and say, nah, like, I can tell you like me. I know my worth. Like and you don't have to say I know my worth, but that's what you want to convey. You say, no, you go, I only do the number thing. you go, I see a lot of women throughout time, or, I see women throughout the day. So, I mean, now's your time to get it. Now's your time to get that number. Like, whatever you want to say to handle that objection, what you're doing is you're regaining the control and you're putting the ball back in your own court. And when you do that, what's going to happen is she's going to go, damn, this man has some balls. Even though he didn't even want to settle for the Instagram, he has enough balls to say, hey, you either have to take the number and you're playing my game, or that's it. And that's how you make sure that women don't stray you off of her path, off of your path. You make sure that she's along for your ride. And that's the key to all of this. Okay? So women will do that. Women will say, oh, no, I have a boyfriend. Women will say, oh, I don't give out my number, but you can have my Snapchat. Women will say all that shit. What you got to do is you have to flirt back with her and be a good enough salesman in yourself. You have to have enough self-belief. And that's why you can have the best game in the world, the best tactics. Like, he said everything right. But then you have to have the self-belief to keep on pushing. Okay? You have to keep pushing, and you have to keep pushing forward. Because the guy with true self-belief, he has enough confidence in himself to walk away. The person who can walk away will always have the upper hand. And if you can walk away, that puts you at the higher value position. By him saying, hey, I got enough self-belief to say, nah, I don't do the whole Instagram thing, but if you want me, like, I'll take your number, but that's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going to try too hard to play this little cat and mouse game. And you can even tease her about that. You can say, oh, like, I knew you would be one of those girls. You got to always make it a big game and a big show. You can say, at first I wanted your number. I don't even know if I want it anymore. Right? Now you flip it back on her. You start to tease her with it. What it says is, hey, I don't need you. I don't need you. I have enough self-belief to walk away, and that gives me the upper hand in the interaction. This, fellas, is how you handle the test. Okay, you exaggerate on her claim. When I say exaggerate, the reason why you're exaggerating is because you want to make her seem ridiculous. Like, you want to make her seem stupid for even saying this. You're like, oh my gosh, I knew you were that type of girl. That's crazy. You're like, I'm not into that. You can even say, I think it's cute how you try to put up the wall with your number, but here's the deal. I'm the type of guy where, like, if I don't get the number, like, that's it. We're not going to be doing any Instagram. You're exaggerating on her claim to make her feel like, lady, how could you? Okay, this is how you're going to make her wet. You stand up to her. You do not go along for the ride. Nice guys agree. NGA, baby. Nice guys agree. Attractive men disagree, and they do things their own way. So you got to remain attractive, fellas. That's how you handle a woman's tests. Hi, everybody. In this module, we're going to be covering the very first step in how to approach a woman. And later on in this module, I'm going to get into what to look for, signs that she's interested, how to make sure that this isn't just an approach that's straight up ice cold and one that might go south. What I'm going to do throughout this entire process throughout this week is I'm going to tell you exactly how to approach a woman with confidence and how to do it in a way that will reciprocate your masculine energy for her feminine energy. So this is the part most men overcomplicate. Okay, and it's just hello. Not just, hey, how's it going? I thought you were really cute. I was kicking myself in the ass. Like, dude, we're being human. We're being normal. Just hi. Hello. That's it. Step one. Here's what you got to realize, guys. This needs to actually be fun. And if you do not have fun with this, you're basically just kind of like missing the entire point of attraction. Now, you see, most men have an agenda with hello. They have an agenda. The whole agenda is just get in her pants and have sex. And even if they tell themselves that, hey, I really want to meet a nice girl, I really want to get to know a woman, oftentimes they don't even really necessarily want to fall in love. They want to fall in love with her sex. Okay, the sad thing is that most men, really what they just want is consistent sex, and that's their form of love. I mean, I've been there. I'm sure you're there. Everyone's been there at one point, but the problem is that when you really have an agenda to this, that agenda keeps them stuck. And it keeps you stuck, and you're actually never able to progress and meet the type of women you want to meet. Because remember, attraction is fun and natural. When you can actually escape your head and you kind of realize, like, hey, men and women are meant to be together. This is basically a normal thing that I'm going through. This is a normal way to feel. It's normal for me to want to go up and approach her, and it's normal for her to want to get approached. Well, then this makes the whole damn thing way easier. Because what you got to see is that men have really just been conditioned that hitting on women is bad. And if you hit on women, you're a bad guy. And it's very false. You see, it's not bad at all. In fact, it's needed. And deep down, women are dying for it. But here's the catch to all this. You have to be attractive. This is why we focused on becoming attractive in week 1. Is because, dude, if you're not attractive and you're hitting on women, she doesn't want you to hit on her unless you're attractive. And it's sad. It sounds really sad, but that's why you got to focus a lot of your energy and masculine emphasis on how to actually be attractive before you approach. Like, if you're going to show up to a race car event, a NASCAR event, don't you want to have the best performing engine parts before you try to step on the speedway? I mean, that's just point blank period, the easiest way to get ahead. Now, what you have to remember through this is you have to really clear your head. And all you should be thinking about when you see a woman is literally nothing than, hey, then pause, what's your name? Like, if I'm about to meet a guy named Tim, I'm going to go, hey, what's your name? I'm Casey. That's it. It's slow. It's normal. It's not rushed. I'm not coming off needy. I'm not coming off offensive. Like, this is a very first hello. This is a very first interaction. She doesn't know what to think of you because you're a complete stranger. Now, here's what you got to remember. If you're attractive, if she likes you, she will actually give you time. There's so many guys, they try to just rush into the interaction real quick. Say, hey, what's up? I thought you were cute. I want to get your number. Bye-bye. Hey, what's up? I thought you were really cute. I was kicking myself in the ass if I didn't come see you. We should grab drinks. What's your thoughts? It's like, dude, what do you mean, what's your thoughts? She doesn't know you. You're a fucking stranger. Why the hell should she want to go get drinks with you? Because you walked up and said, hey? Like, dude, for all she knows, you could be a serial killer. Like, talk slow and build some comfort. If you have to sit there with her for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes before you ask for the number, that's normal. Okay, let her get a feel for your vibe and presence. She will give you time if she likes you. If she does not like you, you know what she's going to say? She's going to say, hey, it was really great seeing you, but I got to get going. Or she's going to say, hey, my kids are in the car, I got to go. Or she's going to say, hey, it's 6:30. At 6:35, I have an appointment to get my nails done. I'm sorry, it's bad timing. She's going to make up an excuse to get out of it. If she does that, she's not into you. If she likes you, she's going to give you time. And if she gives you time, that's your cue to keep doing your thing, keep talking, and to see where it goes. Remember, she's not the prize. You are the prize. Which means if she got the opportunity for you to say hi to her, what that means is she better not mess it up. And it sounds shallow, but like that's the mindset you got to be in, is like you're a high value male. Now, here's what you got to realize. Men are so dumb. And not dumb as in like, we have low IQs, we have low ACT scores. Like, men are smart, obviously. But men will basically do anything to overcomplicate shit. They always do. If you give a man an instruction manual, he'll turn that thing 10 ways sideways to find a shortcut to do it. That's just how we're hardwired. Now, realize that women are dying to get hit on. Like, everything about them in their in their emotional nature says this. Hey, we need attention, we need validation, we need to show our ass on Instagram to get some likes so men can maybe, see that we're sexual and want to get hit on. Like, women are doing anything that they can to get some attention. But get this, they only want this attention from men that they actually have interest in. Like, kind of like you will really only want attention sexually from women who are really sexy. This goes hand in hand. Now, how to be a man they will have interest in. How do you do this? Well, you do this through everything that we spoke about in week 1. You have high amounts of self-care. This is key. If you have high amounts of self-care, what that says is hey, I take care of myself and I take care of my body and I'm focused. You're focused on your fitness. You're focused on your finances. You're focused on your charisma, your faith. And what's in you is you're a person who goes deeper than face value. And since you're able to go deeper than face value, what it shows is that you're a guy who has a lot of stuff going for him. There's more than meets the eye. And not only that, if you have all these things, chances are you know how to flirt because you're confident and you're comfortable in yourself. What all of this says is, hey, as a man, I need to be masculine. I need to actually step up to the plate and be a real dude for once. Not an overgrown boy at a bar, not an overgrown boy at a strip club oogling over some ass. Like, I gotta get my shit together. I gotta be a man. So that way when I look her in the eyes, she knows I'm dead fucking serious and I can seduce her. Basically, you need to make her feel like a woman. The only way to do this is to be a man. This is why polarity and energy is so huge. You have to be polar opposite of how she is. Now, to have the balls, like to have the nuts below your legs, to walk up and actually say the words hi, something hardly any men do, you're halfway there. You're halfway to like having a really solid interaction, because so many guys right here get so stuck in their head like, oh my God, what if she thinks I'm weird? What if she thinks I'm a creep? Like, if you just went and did it, you're halfway there. Because what this shows is you've probably been there before. Now, once again, you got to ask yourself, hey, are you a 99%er that is going to bitch out? Or are you a 1%er? If you're a 1%er, you see, you have the balls to just take life by the horns. You will grab life by the horns. You have the balls to navigate it, and you're just going to get shit done because you're a 1%er. What I want you to do is I want you to stop actually giving yourself a reason not to do it. So this is what all men do. They go in their head and they weigh out the pros versus the cons of approaching. Now, what most men do is they will find any excuse in the book to not approach. They will say things like, oh, she's with her friends, which obviously, dude, like, she's always going to be with her friends. Do you think she's solo? No. You gotta weigh or they'll say some shit like, hey, I don't know if it was good timing, or I'm nervous she's going to think I'm weird, or what if I say something wrong and she thinks I'm a creep, right? It's just because their brain is not used to that territory yet. The brain is in uncharted territory, excuse me. The pros of approaching is this. What if you actually have a really solid interaction? Or what if she actually likes you already? Or what if she already thought you were cute? Or what if she actually thinks that you look like the type of guy that has his shit together? What if she just can feel that masculine charisma? She can feel that masculine energy. You seem like the type of guy that has his shit together. And if you take this a step further, I don't know what your values or beliefs or goals are, but what if you actually meet a girl who you spend a long time with? What if this is one day, what if this is one day the mother of your kids? What if that happens right there? Well, that's a pro. You see, that's a pro. All of these are pros that could happen. The cons of you not approaching, there virtually isn't any, because the worst she can say is no. And here's what's going to happen if you don't approach. You're going to kick yourself in the ass and go, why? Why wasn't I strong enough? You're going to kick yourself in the ass and you're going to say, why am I too timid? You're going to say, what if that would have went somewhere? You're going to say, what if her friends would have really liked me too? What if I was that guy that she was super attracted to and she liked? The cons of approaching is everything. The pros is like an endless list. So you get to pick what side of this you want to be on. Do you want to be a type of guy that just runs with all the cons and lets his head get in the way? Or do you want a guy that actually takes life by the horns? Because if you want to take life by the horns, you should only be focusing on the pros in every single situation. Because if you focus, what people focus on in life is what they get. If you focus on shit, you're going to get shit. If you focus on crushing it every single day, guess what happens? You just start crushing it. That's key. So stop giving yourself a reason not to. Stop telling yourself you're not good enough. Because if you keep telling yourself that, it doesn't matter if you make $1 million a year, $2 million a year, $10 million a year, you get six-pack abs, you drive a Ferrari. Like, dude, if you just keep telling yourself you're not good enough, well, then you're never going to be good enough. The brain is so powerful, man. Once you have baseline confidence established, it's time to actually get out in the field and start working. Now, the issue is this. The issue is that you're always looking for the right time to approach her. Now, you got to realize this: one percenters do not bend to the world, they have the world bend to them. Meaning, if you're a guy who's a one percenter, like what that says is that means you don't care about the timing and the interaction because you realize the timing is irrelevant and you're just going to make the most and the best out of the time that you have. Maybe she's alone, maybe she's not. Maybe she's in the produce section, maybe she's not. Maybe she's with her friends at a club. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's walking down the street to get a coffee. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's jogging down the road to get a workout in. Maybe she's not. Like, dude, people will make up any excuse. They'll say, oh, she had her headphones in. She was fucking on the car talking to somebody. She was with a friend chattering. Like, dude, if you're interested, isn't it like your God-given duty to make sure you can have your genes carry on one day? Like, isn't it your God-given duty to figure out that, hey, like, I'm actually doing this woman a favor if I approach her because since I'm a really good guy, I'm actually adding benefit to her life? Don't you want to be that type of guy? Because if you are doing the work, all that's going to happen is you're actually going to increase the quality of her life, which means if you do not approach her, you're actually doing her a disservice. You're actually doing her worse. And that's exactly how you have to frame it. You have to just go say hi. You have to put your foot in the fire a little bit. Now, here's the thing. You are the man and men are leaders. And since men are natural leaders, men have to actually lead these interactions, which means there is no right time to approach. Like, you make the time. You make the time right. And if you see the opportunity, what you have to do is you have to take it. Now, here's what happens. Shy and timid equals emotional and weak. And deep down, she wants a man. Not a boy. She wants a man. So just be the man. Stop always giving yourself a reason to back out. Because if you were the man, you wouldn't have these issues. But that's why we covered everything in week 1, is so that way you can establish these base traits so you can get rid of the shyness and this timid, emotional, weak feeling. Because your feelings and your emotions are holding you back. And like I said, I'm looking at you like a car. If we can get the performance up, if we can get the parts better, we can usually get the internals a little bit better. We can get the emotional under control. So if she finds you attractive, you got to know this, man, she will give you time. And you can hear the conviction in my voice, how I'm so passionate about this. Like, I know what it's like to feel like this, and I know what it's like to actually just start to put in the work. You have to put in the work. If she finds you unattractive, you will also just know it. You'll know it. You can tell if a woman's attracted. You can tell if a woman's unattractive. So start to be an attractive male universally. Like, be the type of guy where if all women look at you, they would basically just say, yeah, that guy has his shit together and he looks strong and powerful. That's it. Because strength has a look. And guess what? Weakness also has a look. So if you can be on the side of strong, well, you're going to now carry yourself as a strong man should. So you must clear your head. Like I said, man, these are humans, not an alien. These are also not screens. These are also not robots. Okay, these are humans. And humans have base traits. Humans need companion. Companions are needed. Realize that the hotter she is, the less options she has. Because the hotter she is, the less men that she has in the pool who are willing to go approach her, who are willing to make a human connection with her, because they're all scared and think that she's going to like take his birthday away or something. Okay, she doesn't want all these thirsty ass men on Tinder. She does not want all these men that hide behind the keyboard. She wants just a real man. Do you know how many girls will just tell you that? They're just like, why can't I just find a man? That's what women have to deal with, is they have to deal with a bunch of pussified boys, a bunch of feminized boys. Like, dude, as long as you can just say strong throughout this, you're going to literally kick ass. Now, if you can't approach women, chances are, guess what? You can't approach men either. Because the same rules apply. If you have a friendly interaction with like a dude friend, well, here's what's going to happen. If you've been friends with a dude for a while, you go, dude, you know what happens. Here's what's going to happen. In order to be friends with a male, you have to have boy talk. You have to have man-to-man talk. You probably talk about women. You talk about sex. You joke around. You talk about business. You flirt. Excuse me. You don't flirt. You talk about flirting with other women. You talk about the women that you're trying to get, that you're going to get, right? Basically, you're having an emotional time with a man. And what you're doing is you're building brotherhood. Now, chances are, if you struggle building brotherhood, like I just wrote out for you right here, if you struggle actually having male friends, chances are you just struggle talking to everybody, males or females, because the same rules apply. What you have to do is you have to broaden your circle. You have to start talking to people because people need companionship. It doesn't matter how successful you are, like you still need man to man interaction and you need man to woman interaction. You just have to have people in general. If you can start saying hi to people, you're going to have success. So the first step is this. The first step with all this, okay, the first step with all this is to breathe, okay, and realize you're actually in control because you are the man. Nobody can grow the nuts for you. I can't grow the nuts for you even on camera right here on this screen. I literally can't. You have to start saying hi to everyone, whether they're young or old, they're fat or they're fit, they're small or they're big, they're dedicated or they're lazy. Maybe they're a sexy blonde Victoria's Secret model, or maybe they're a 600-pound woman. It doesn't matter. You have to actually start to be the man that can interact. Because if you are the man that can interact, well, now guess what? You're the man that can just speak to people. Because women are people. Now, your ability to speak, listen to me closely, will literally dictate every single win in your entire life. It's going to dictate your love life. It's going to dictate your finances. Let's say you need to close a sales call or you need to get a promotion. You need to communicate with your kids. Speaking with people is everything in life. It unlocks the key to everything. It unlocks the key to love. It unlocks the key to money. It unlocks the key to companionship. People are people. Okay, and people are dying for this interaction, especially in this social media age. The first step with all of this is to say hello. This sounds so plain Jane and so basic, but you got to realize she doesn't need Superman right away. She just needs a man. So just be a person and just say hi. Don't make it weird. Don't tell her you want to bed her down and take her clothes off right away. But dude, just like say hi. Get to know her. All right, everybody. So we all know that step one, you have to actually say hello. But what we don't know is we don't know how to actually say it. We don't know what the proper voice tonality is yet. Now, I do not want you to skip over this week, and I do not want you to skip over this module, because how you speak to women is so important. How you use your tone of voice, especially after you've known a woman for a while, to give off this smooth, like suave, masculine sounding energy. And like this goes through everything. Not only does this go for how you approach, but it also needs to just be how you carry yourself and how you interact with women, period. Right? Because if you're trying to seduce a woman, if you're trying to get a woman in that mood, if you're trying to get her to view you as the man that just does it for her, fellas, you have to speak correctly. Okay, you 100% have to speak correctly. So what is masculine frame? What is masculine frame? Masculine frame explained. Okay, so masculine frame is the frame and the demeanor or the dominance that you hold when you're in front of a woman. And just as if she has a feminine frame or feminine energy, you have masculine frame and masculine energy. I need you guys to stay in a state 24/7 with your voice tone that is calm and cool and collected. It's sexy, it's strong, it's slow talking. It's, hey baby, how you doing? You know what I mean? It's that smooth, suave voice, okay? So you got to remember this. You're not trying to please her. Most men are just people pleasers. Most men just look at women as the automatic prize. Most men just look at women as some human that they have to entertain for a period of time. You have no reason to please her. You have no reason to please her whatsoever. If anything, she should also be trying to please you throughout the date and the interaction. So that's why you're going to come off chill. You're going to come off laid back. You're going to come off confident. Sit back in your chair, kick your feet up a little bit, act like you've been there before, and act like you know what the hell you're doing. Because here's what you got to remember. I put, dude, she's is the girl. Girls love to just flap their mouth and talk. You hear this all the time. If you got a 16-year-old girl, she's got girl drama. You know, when it gets older, it's spouse drama. When she's divorced, it's divorce drama. Like, dude, women talk. Let her do the damn talking.
Your job is to sit back, chill, and be the man. Your job is not to entertain and please her. You are there to act masculine and seductive, not entertain her. And there's a very, very, very big difference. Now, 99% of men act girly to match feminine energy. So, what is female energy? Well, female energy is everything that masculine energy isn't. It's loud, it's bubbly, it's obnoxious, it's emotional, it's loving, it's sweet, it's soft, it's caring, it's feminine. Basically all of these things that men are not. Because if you just like sit with a group of dudes, you're gonna get some calm, chill dudes just kind of shooting the shit, laid back and relaxed. That is the exact same state of mind and state of presence you have to be in with a woman. Because what 99% of men do, 99% of men, fellas, try to act like her. They try to align with her. They try to align the exact same energy to make sure that they have the things that she has. But in reality, it's polarity that keeps attraction. It's yin and yang. It's yin versus yang. And the more opposite you are, the more attraction there is. Here's the thing. If I'm in a coffee shop, I can spot a feminized man from a mile away. He's nervous on the date. He's talking 100 miles an hour. He's beating around the bush and he's not flirting with her at all. And not only that, this is exactly how he sounds. He goes, hey, it's so great to see you. Hey, yeah, so how's your day? Yeah, tell me about work. Like do you hear that do you hear that like soft gentleman in my voice that just does not sound attractive? It sounds like I have not been there before. And this is what we're running into today is feminization. We're running into a generation of a bunch of men that have no idea how to act like men because you see, men are not men anymore. The men of the past were versus the men of the future. I'll just put FU for future. The men of the past were like badass. Okay? This is the time when men were men. This was the time when they were respected. This is the time when men worked. This is the time when men like worked with their hands. They were strong. They were able. You know, if there was confrontation, they would fight. They would be warriors. They didn't take no for an answer. They fought for what they believed in. They kicked ass. Okay, today in the future generation, what we have is we have a bunch of soft men hiding behind the computer screen, jerking their dick to porn, telling their friends and telling their mom how hard it is to find a good girl because they just want love as they spray to that computer screen. And what's sad is this is the exact way all men act. And then what happens is they get out on these dates, they get out with these women, and they act totally like women because they're porn addicted and they're scared to offend. And not only that, they're nervous because they're not looking at her like a human, they're looking at her like a sex toy that they see on camera all day. And this just pisses me off. It's like, why is it supposed to be embarrassing to be a guy? But that's how men feel. You got to realize this. You are not there to entertain her. You are not there to be her personal bitch. You are there to have equal play in the interaction. You are there to sit back and maybe even she can try to entertain you. That would be nice because girls are good at that shit. They're good at talking. So you are equal counterpart value or higher. If you tell yourself you're higher, if you're like a man right now who's really broken and you just tell yourself you're higher, chances are it's going to be easier because you're going to come off as equal. Okay, you're going to lose that soft lover boy frame and you're for once finally going to come off as equal. I'm not trying to diss or hate on women. I want everything to be equal with who puts in the effort. Men need to put in 50% of the effort. She needs to put in 50%. It's a two-way street. So I want you to preferably think that you're higher because that way you will stop qualifying yourself and you'll actually just let her come to you. Because you're chill and you're okay with the outcome. You realize that, hey, I'm not nervous. I've been here before. Because if your interest level is sky high, if she sees you're super interested in her, if she sees you're super nervous and you really need that date to happen because you haven't been laid in 6 months or your girlfriend broke up with you and you've been single for a year, she will sense that you have not been there before. Now, women want your validation, so do not give it to them, at least right away. You got to remember, she doesn't want sex like you want sex. She wants your validation. She wants to know that she has another guy lined up at her beck and call that will basically just do anything for her, because women don't get validated from sex like men do. Men feel validation in their ego, and they feel validation when they get to have sex. Women, on the other hand, do not feel validated from sex. They feel validated from getting attention. They feel validated from validation. So what you have to remember is the chase is the thing that makes it fun in her eyes. Now, you got to think of this, man. Think of the Barry Sanders method. Now, who is Barry Sanders, and what is Barry Sanders, and why is this even important? Well, Barry Sanders was one of the greatest running backs of all time when it came to football. He was a running back, and he kicked ass. Okay, he scored touchdowns left and right. When he would score a touchdown, what Barry Sanders did was Barry Sanders was so used to always being in the end zone right here, he would just hand the ref the football. He would not spike it. He would not throw a temper tantrum and get all woo-woo excited. For him, it was business. He was right back to business. He was right back to the sidelines to study the play. Okay, since for him this was all business, he outshined everybody. Because while everybody else was over here, they were celebrating, there was confetti, they're spiking the football into the field, they're engaging the fans. Barry just kept scoring because Barry's been there before. Barry doesn't need to celebrate because Barry Sanders knew what it felt like to score a touchdown. The thing is that you have to think of this in your own eyes. You have to act like you've been in that end zone before. You have to act like this is an everyday occurrence for you. Because if she realizes you don't get this very much, she's going to run you through the ringer and put you through hoops and ladders and probably not want to be intimate with you because you're not radiating confidence. Now, your job is not to impress her. Please realize that. She is not the prize. Okay, she is not the prize. Your job is not to impress her, and she is not the prize. Yet all men act like this. They feel thankful to get a date. They feel thankful that she showed up. They feel thankful that she even got dressed and came out to meet him. They feel thankful they even got a text back. And yet women sit up on this kind of prize-like pedestal, and since everybody is in their inbox on Instagram and on Tinder, they automatically have this overinflated sense of self. And the fact is that if you take a female who is an 8 and you take a man who is an 8, you're going to notice the man who is an 8 has no women in his inbox, but yet the woman who's an 8 has 30 guys in her inbox. What does that tell you? It tells you that men validate women all too much, and they put themselves at the lower value. Now, why the hell is masculinity not worth something today? Because shouldn't she feel good that a strong man is actually in front of her? Like, fellas, you got to be a leader, so you got to actually lead the interaction. Like, pick where you're going to eat. Don't ask her, just pick. Pick what time you're gonna pick her up. Pick what time everything. Like, the more you can lead her, the better the interaction is going to be. You have to know this. Now, why are you so excited and so willing? This is what I want to ask you. Why are you so excited? Why are you so excited and so willing to get a date at the drop of a hat? Now, you see, men have this issue of turning into a bubbly, excited kid. They think of themselves as a bubbly, excited kid when they're around a woman. And they're so willing to try to keep her attention. They're so willing to make sure she is entertained. It's deeply rooted in their emotional frame, and this is why 99% of women pull back and have less attraction. It's because you lost masculine frame. You lost masculine frame so much that you started to overvalidate, you started to overcompliment, you started to look at her like she is the prize. You started to look at her as if you're never going to find another girl like her again. You started to always hold her hand and hold that eye contact just a little bit too long. You started to say, I love you just a little too many times. And what happened? She lost respect. She lost respect because you lost frame. Because you are so excited and so willing, she sees that she has you figured out. And fellas, if you haven't noticed by now, women like a goddamn project. And the more emotional spikes you can give a woman, typically, the more you can make it so that woman doesn't necessarily know where she stands with you, the greater chances you have of her falling in love. It's just how women are hardwired because they are emotional creatures. They are not like you and me. They do not think like you and me. You have to think of this from their perspective to figure them out. Now, here's the thing. Masculine frame is so important. Because men will literally deal with these things until the day that they die. Until you're buried in the grave, you're going to deal with figuring out how to maintain masculine frame forever. Because I don't care if it's the first approach, It could be you guys are just casually dating, seeing each other. It could be that you guys are having sex. Maybe she's your girlfriend. Maybe she's your wife. It does not matter. It's all the same. You cannot argue with women. You cannot play to that emotional game with them. You cannot overvalidate them. What you have to do is you have to just remain masculine. You have to be on your grind, passion, and purpose 24/7. Women have to complement your life and not be the priority. And if you can do that, you're going to start to have success. But here's the thing, from age 16, when a dude hits puberty, until death, everything is the same. It's all the same. You must hold frame no matter what, or you are going to be in for pain throughout this entire process. Now, not only do most men try to align their voice and demeanor with women, but you see, they also talk 100 miles an hour. And the reason why they talk 100 miles an hour is right here: their fear of loss. They're scared that she will lose interest if he doesn't keep her attention 24/7. What that translates into in the woman's mind is she goes, this guy's nervous, this guy's overly excited, this guy has already framed me as the prize, so now I realize this guy's low value and I don't want him. That's women logic. The harder you try, the less results you will have. Results really only come when you genuinely don't give a fuck anymore. And this is why women will basically chase a guy till the ends of the earth if he does not show affection or high interest. You hear this all the time. Women will bitch about guys that they're in love with. They'll say, he never texts me back, he treats me like shit, he never takes me out, he doesn't call me. Yeah, that's the guy that they're chasing 24/7. Why is it? It's because that is the guy who knows how to make her emotions do this. Right here. And this emotional turmoil, spikes, is what she craves. She craves ultimate highs. She craves ultimate lows. Because women just need to feel something. They need to feel anything. That's how you keep them in check. Masculine frame is calm and cool. I gotta ask you, what has she actually done to raise your interest so high? Because from the sounds of it, from the most part, for most men, all she's done so far is shown up with a pretty face and provided a date. That's it. If that's all you need to be won over as a man, then you're in for pain, because these women are not going to respect you at all. Now, here's the sad truth. The sad truth is this: you pray that the interaction goes smooth. You pray that she likes you. You pray that you say the right thing, and because of that, you never see results. And like I said earlier, results will only come when you genuinely do not give a fuck. And I don't mean just like the guy who says, "Oh, I don't give a shit." I mean the guy who just really doesn't care. Like the guy who's so focused on himself, so focused on the bigger picture, so focused on the image of ambition and passion. Notice I'm not saying not give a fuck and just try to screw a bunch of women and ruin a bunch of people's lives. I'm saying the guy who doesn't care because he's so focused on bettering his future. That is when the women will come. So do the work, okay? Because week 1 was in this training for a reason. Week 1 is in this module for a reason. Week 1 was the premise and the building block of this entire course for a reason. And that will give you that natural abundance mindset to carry yourself with confidence and put yourself in the frame where you go, hey, I'm the prize. I can approach any woman. I'm not fearful of anybody because I've done the work to not care. Like, I've done the work to make myself better. That is when you will succeed. So what you need to ask yourself is this: why is she not trying to hold your attention? Okay, why is she not trying to hold your attention? Why is it that she's not sitting there fidgeting nervous? Well, it's probably because she's been there before. And like I said, there's a reason the assholes seem to always get the girl. It's because that asshole is the one who provides the emotional turmoil. Now, if you approach, what will happen? Because here's what most guys do in their brain. They go, oh, she might hate me. The girl's gonna take my birthday away. Friends won't like me. I might make a fool of myself. I might fuck up. Like, yeah, you're scared. That's what this says. You're scared. But in real life, here's what usually happens. She gets to show off to her friends that she was the one who was picked. She was the one who got hit on. She feels all bubbly. The friends get jealous. The friends even like you more because you picked her. Then it looks like you have massive balls because you hit on the hot one. You got the hot girl. And then, you maybe meet your future XYZ. Maybe this is girlfriend, maybe this is wife, maybe this is companion. I don't know what your beliefs or goals are, but whatever it is, you need to make it happen because you're the one who's in control. And the quicker you realize that, the quicker you're going to have success. What I advise you to do is get in touch with the body, not the mind. Because the mind is going to tell you a million things. The mind is going to tell you don't approach. The mind is going to tell you this isn't right. The mind is going to tell you to stay logical and ask her 20 questions. If you get in touch with the body says, hey, John, hey, Tim, hey, Henry, you're attracted to her. Go do your thing. So get out of your head, escape your head. That is the only way to have success with this. Now, stop talking yourself out of life, man. This is going to be the last slide to this. You got to realize you are the man, you are the leader, you are in control. If you like what you see, make the damn approach. Okay, make the damn approach. Like, you like what you see, you already want her. Go see if she's cool. See if she's a good fit for you. Don't just think, can I sleep with her right away? That's your whole issue here. Think, hey, would this girl actually complement my life? And then screen her and talk to her to figure out what she does, who she's about, what type of chick she's like, and figure out what type of girls you like in the first place. That way, if she fits that bill, you can proceed forward. If she doesn't, you can cut it off right there. And you better start doing these things or I'm going to start doing it for you. And you don't want me to take your girl. Now, today, what we need to talk about is we need to actually talk about men's default lower value brain. Because me, after coaching hundreds of men through their masculinity, through their journey with women, through their journey with dating, through their journey with marriage, through their journey with divorce, like you guys, I've seen it all. The whole issue is this. When a man squares up with a woman, and by squares up, I just mean enters into an interaction, enters into a relationship, enters into anything with her, he has the default lower value, meaning in his brain, in his eyes, he thinks he is less than her. Okay, if this is him and this is her, you know what, let's switch that around. Man of a stick. If that's him and this is her, men automatically think that he is less than her. This is what's keeping him in that scarcity mindset, scared to lose her. This is also what is keeping him in that fear of loss. This is also what's keeping him shy and timid, is that he thinks he is less than her by default. When in reality, men are strong, men are doers, men are capable, men are able, men have always been looked upon as strong, dependable men, which means you have to be that. If you start to be that, you will wipe out the default lower value mentality. Okay, if you've ever been in an interaction with a woman, I want you to go into the Facebook group and comment hashtag lower value and explain what you used to think when you were around women, how that made you feel, and what you think you can do today to actually change that. Because I want to see this group interacting to see how everybody's experiences are. If you constantly find yourself feeling mentally that you're at the lower value, it's going to show. And I want to know why you're actually feeling like that. So this is the current dating situation with men. The current dating situation the current dating situation with men is this. When men interact with a woman, they often feel as if they are not worthy of that girl. So he instantly defaults to putting her on the pedestal, right? You also will default feel that she's out of your league naturally. And men are now deep-rooted people pleasers. And this is the opposite of what strength is. In fact, all of these traits that I have bolded right here is timid, weak factors. And like, fellas, you got to realize she does not want to kiss ass. The kiss ass doesn't make her wet. Because, excuse my language, excuse my French, I'm just going to be real with you for a second. You being any of these does not make the water drop between her legs. It just doesn't. Like, she wants the guy who's a badass. She wants the guy who will offend if necessary. She wants the guy who's strong. She wants the guy who can protect. She does not want your whiny kiss assness. She does not want you showing up with a bouquet of flowers. She does not want you writing poetry. She does not want you saying baby good morning. Like, fellas, my parents are divorced, and my dad was a hard ass. My mom is 49 years old right now. She's not currently seeing anybody, and my siblings have told me word for word, my brother has told me that she said, even at her age, she goes, word for word quote, she goes, I don't want no damn man. texting me good morning with kissy emojis in the morning. That's weak. Yeah, my mom's 49, damn near 50 years old. That is what even came out of her mouth. That is not attractive. All you guys blowing kisses to women over the cell phone, all you men showing up with the flowers and paying for the dates and holding the doors and saying I love you letters and all this shit, man, this is exactly what's turning her off. Because you look like you have no options. You look so weak. You're like a little lover boy, a timid boy that just is trying to pedestalize her to win her over, and it's unattractive. Now, men currently have the lower hand in the interaction in every single situation. And here's what you have to realize, fellas. This is a competition. The dating game is a competition. And you have to compete right now against the entire inbox. You have to go against the 20 messages on Tinder and Bumble and Facebook and Instagram. How are you going to compete? How the hell are you actually going to separate yourself to be better than the rest? Because you see, at this point in time, men have given away all of their power, all of their worth, all of their authority as man to the cell phone. The cell phone now holds the key to her entire ego right here. The cell phone holds the key to her entire inbox of dicks. Just inbox flooded with dicks, dicks everywhere. How are you going to compete? Well, you cannot do what the 99% of men do. You have to be the 1% that does things differently, that does things better. You have to be the guy who is different. Now, the reason why it is so hard to connect with women today is because women have huge egos from all of the free attention and validation. All of this free attention and validation tells them one thing and one thing only, that I'm super important. If you have a woman who's a 5 or 6 in the looks department, when she gets 300 likes on Instagram, she automatically thinks she's an 8, a 9, or a 10. And this is why it's so hard for you guys to get women, is because not only do you give all your attention and validation away, so when you do interact with a woman, it no longer means anything, but the fact is that women naturally have this abundance mindset. They naturally have it because all men compliment and validate them. And now you have a man who's like an actual 7, 8, or 9, and he has to think he's at a lower value, and now he's getting women that are 5s and 6s. And it's messed up. Men have put themselves in this situation by only qualifying women purely on sex. This is why when she posts a scandalous picture on the internet, she gets a bunch of likes. Because you got to realize, fellas, if men are only focused on the sex, what's going to happen is that these women are going to keep being promiscuous. And this is why it's harder than ever for you to escape the cell phone, escape the actual inbox, escape the porn websites. Because these men, by him giving all of his non-sexual attention away constantly, she feels validated enough as is. She doesn't need him. She doesn't need his sex because she already has his attention. She got what she wanted. And this is why most women have such low interest in dates, because all men are the same. All men are the exact fucking same. They do the same things. They pay for the date. They're nice. They try to get her to snuggle and watch a movie. That's all there is to them, and they drink on weekends. Like, this is what men have become. And since you're the one who has to make the initial approach, since you're the man, right, you got to go through the hoops and ladders to get the dates and lead the interaction. You better be damn sure that you are better than most men. That might sound cocky, that might sound arrogant, but you need to be better. You need to be better than the entire playing field. Why do you have to be better than the entire playing field? Because if you're not, you're screwed. You're going to fall back into this category. If we have you in this category, you have no success when approaching these women. Now, females are searching for the strength in the world, not niceness. And like I've said before, a nice guy does not make a good man. A nice guy does not make a good man. The problem is that men act just like women. They act exactly like women. They're searching for emotion and love and intimacy. This is why you never receive it. You see, she doesn't have a reason to give you these things because you're currently acting like she does, which is a turnoff. Now, men think being nice equals strength. They also think that being nice and sweet equals rewarded sexually, but it doesn't take more than a couple heartbreaks to realize that that does not work like that. Women are not logical. Because nice plus sweet should equal reward, that's the logical method, but you got to remember, women are not logical. Women are only emotional. Like, none of this adds up. Okay, you got to realize this. Women do not care about your struggles. They only hang out at the finish line for the winners. Like, women only want the winner. She does not care what you had to go through. She does not care what struggles you have. She only wants this guy. This guy could be successful. This guy could be a player. This guy could be anything. As long as you're fucking crushing it at whatever it is that you do, you win the girl. That's called life. So you better get used to it. When approaching women, you must get out of your logical brain. Okay, stop thinking you're lower value than her, and damn sure stop playing 20 questions with her. Stop asking her where she went to school, where she's from, who her best friend is, what her favorite food is. Like, you don't care. I know you don't care because you love how big her ass is and how hot she looks. So you might as well just escalate and get to the point and start playing with her emotions a little bit here, because that's what's going to get her engaged. And start getting in touch with your body and out of your head. Okay? Here's what happens when you get out of the logical brain and get into the body, is this right here. Here you got body. Let's go bod for short. Here you got BR for brain, right? Now, when you get out of the brain, actually, let's reverse this. When you're inside the brain, you're stuck in this logic. And when you're in logic, the issue that you're going to have is that it's going to make sense what you're saying. But the problem is that since you're not in tune with your body, it doesn't equal any more attraction. So you're going to play 20 questions with her. You're also going to play GTKY. This stands for get to know you. You're playing get to know you. You're playing get to know you game. Where are you from? What do you do? What are your interests? What are your occupation? What religion are you, dude? I don't give a fuck, and neither do you. When you're in your body, bro, this is where the magic happens. This is when you're sitting in your head and you're going, damn, girl, like you look fucking like fuck, girl. Like, yeah, you're doing a double on me right now. Like, you look sexy. And then you start flirting and you get in that smooth tone of voice and you say, so what type of chick are you? You know, I like them rambunctious type. I like them sassy girls. Show me how sassy you are, baby. You start to get into that voice. She's going to go, wow, this man's so sexy. This man will just say whatever he wants. This man just says what's on his mind. It's because you escaped the brain and you got in touch with the feeling of the body. The body wants the woman. The body thinks she has mommy hips, right? When she's looking so sweet, when those hips are looking so wide, when her breasts look so nice, when her smile is so white, and you go, damn, baby. You know, when you walk up and you approach her and you say, what is your name? You know, not, hey, what's your name? You go, what is your name? How you doing? Yeah, Joey Tribbiani from Friends, how you doing? Okay, you get what I mean, baby. How are you doing? It's not even about what you say. You notice how the tone of my voice just gets a little lower, a little deeper, a little bit more in touch. If you can just hold that the whole time and start to come off from this vibe right here, you're going to radiate one thing, and that's called daddy energy. I'm just making this shit up right now, but daddy energy. If she can look at you and go, that's daddy right there. Okay, that is the mode she needs to be in. She needs to look at you and you need to scream sex, because now she wants you as a lover. And if she wants you as a lover, what's cool with that is if she's already sexually attracted to you because you're putting in the work on your body and on your charisma, and then on top of that, she figures out all of this other things about you. She figures out that you're financially stable, you have great morals, you have great spirit, you have great ethics, you have a great outlook on life, you're positive, you are hardworking, you're disciplined. Well, dude, now you have all of these things, and guess what? Now she wants you as an LTR. Now she's trying to lock your ass down for relationship, because you have qualities that are symbolizing relationship, because women want to breed with men who are successful. Now, they're not connected. See, sex is not connected to relationship. This is why you get to play which game you want to pick. If you want to have a one-night stand with her, that's pretty easy. All you have to do is get in touch with your body, pull that bad boy frame, ask her how she's doing, ask her what she's about. I'm like, God damn, I wouldn't mind getting to know you tonight. What type of drink do you drink? Shit, you follow me. I'm going to show you a good time. Let's go sit. Let's talk. Let's chill. I'm trying to get to know you. Right? You say it like that. Oh, shit. This guy's confident. This guy could easily pull in one night. If this guy wants a relationship, Not only does he have to have the daddy energy, so she views him as a sexual being, but now he has to start to uncover all of these other traits, so it shows that you're worth bonding with. Now, the thing is that you can't get salty, because even if you're a guy who doesn't have any of these things going, you got to realize as long as you can radiate this daddy energy plus that confident charisma, you can still get sex right away. Women will still sleep with you instantly. They might not want anything more than that with you, but you can't get jealous and slut shame women because you think that they're bad because you have all these things going for you and she still fucked a bartender. You get what I mean? Like, you don't even have to have all these traits. It's just nice to have them, because for most guys, all these other traits gives you that inner confidence to say fuck off, like I am confident. You need something to have confidence with. But if you're the type of guy who can just radiate this energy, dude, if sex is the only purpose and your only goal, which I advise it not to be because it's pretty shallow, you only have to have these things in place. That energy, that swag, that seduction, that okay willingness to be in touch with your sexual feeling. So start getting in touch with your body and get out of your head. That's so key. Now, here's the thing. Since women know that 95% of men are just ass kissers, you need to understand masculine frame now more than ever, because we live in a sugar-coated fairy tale world. We live in a world where you're not supposed to offend, you're not supposed to say the wrong thing, you have to be politically correct or you're a bad guy. Well, guess what? The villain typically always gets the girl. And it's sad but true. So you got to be the guy with some masculinity and tone in his voice, because confidence will be displayed naturally if you can do that. Have some bass in your voice and be strong. It's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. So stop feeling like you are the lower value in the interaction. Do not be so quick to please as a pushover, and the fact that you did not walk up to her scared shitless and ask timidly, "Hey, can I get you a drink?" says a lot. You know, let's get this to just basics. Here's an interaction. "Hey, I'm John. What's your name?" "Oh, Sally's my name." "Oh, cool. Sally, damn, like you look fun. I mean, I don't know what it is about you, but like you look kind of fun. I kind of want to get to know you, Sally." Like, "Shit, Sally, let's grab a drink." She's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Sally, yeah, like let's grab a drink, let's talk for a bit, come with me. I guarantee you're gonna have a great time tonight. Just follow me. Let's go. Let's get one. Come on." There you go, right there. You're confident, you led. She didn't have to do anything. Notice how short her lines are, and you're just leading the interaction, how long my lines are. That's how it should be. Then once she agrees, you let her do the talking. You let her talk to you. And you nod your head, Joe Blow, cool, kind of smooth, suave, seductive. You get into that mode. You have to practice it. I don't care if you need to look in a mirror and do it, but start acting the right way. Start acting seductive in front of women. Now, see, your job is to just lead. That will make you the dominant and attractive by default, because you're not forcing her to do anything. You got to remember that she has every right to say no. She has every right not to follow. But if you start to do these things where you take control of the scene, she's naturally going to, because that is in her nature. She will break rules for one guy and make rules for another. That's why some guys she puts in relationship category and other guys she's going to sleep with on the first night. The key is to have the best of both worlds. You have to be the guy that she would want to have sex with, but also wouldn't mind settling down with. If you can do that, well, you have it both. That's the key. Now, man, here's what you got to remember. You are never at the lower value in the interaction. If you are in this course, you are a one percenter. I'm teaching you how to be a one percenter. This means I advise you to start acting like it. She should be happy that she even got approached, because you could have picked anybody. Remember that. You didn't, but you picked her. So she should take it as a fucking compliment and be honored. So stop thinking you're doing her a disservice. If you're adding value to her life instead of taking, you're doing good. Uncle C is about to tell these men when to approach. When to approach. The most over-asked question in all of humanity. Now, obviously, I'm being a bit sarcastic, right? It's not probably the most over-asked question, but in my realm, in my world, this is one of the most asked questions, you see. What you got to realize is this. When to approach is irrelevant, because what's going to matter is that you just make the approach in the first place. Now you got to realize this: your brain does not want you to win because your brain is telling you, hey, that's uncharted territory. We don't know what's going to happen. This is scary. This is scary to approach a good-looking girl. This is not common in Western culture. This isn't there's even Gillette commercials saying, "Hey, you can't be a man." Do you get what I'm saying? Men are conditioned nowadays to just sit down and shut up and be good boys, which has made it very confusing for the mass majority of men to know when is appropriate to approach. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you exactly when to approach, how to make it calibrated as hell so that way it never feels or looks awkward, and how to make sure that the attraction stays natural. Because that's what you need, is some natural interactions. Now, I'm going to break down two things. There's easy picks when it comes to women and when it comes to approach, and there's hard picks. Hard picks, like they describe, are hard. The hard ones you can still do, but know that they're going to be harder than an easy pick. Let me explain. An easy pick is when a woman gives you choosing signals or choosing signs, or she literally gives you some sort of representation that says, hey, I'm interested. This could be her smiling at you. This could be her looking over at you 2-3 times in a row where you catch her staring. This could be her gawking at you. This could be her twisting and turning and flipping her big blonde hair to try to get your attention. This could be her doing anything humanly possible to signal that she's interested. Because women will signal expecting the men to do the approach. Women are the choosers in the relationships. Men have to do the approaching. Men do the approaching, women pick which ones they want. That's just how it is. Now, hard picks, you can still do. In fact, I even think you're more of a fucking stud and a boss if you do a hard pick. Because a hard pick is when you just grab your fucking balls and you go in for it anyways. So maybe you make eye contact with the girl and you just walk up there and you strike your conversation. So choosing signals, when it comes to choosing signals, they're going to go, is it a choosing signal or isn't it a choosing signal? So a hard choosing signal is this. Looks your way and stares. She looks at your way, she stares, right? She maybe winks. She does anything to signal, meaning maybe she smiles right at you. She holds eye contact for just a little bit longer than she should. Okay? These are all choosing signals. She flips the hair. She twists and turns all this hair that she's got blowing around all over. Okay, these are all choosing signals. But then men over here, they go, well, what isn't a choosing signal? They're going to go, well, she kind of looked at me, right? Or they're going to go, hey, I think she flipped her hair. Is that a choosing signal or isn't it? Now, fellas, I don't know. I don't know. There's men that get so caught up in the nitty gritty small stuff. Dude, I don't know if it was a choosing signal at all times. You're not going to either. Because some women are shy. Do you get this? She could be interested, but she's too shy to make a hard choosing signal. Just like you are probably too shy to make a bold approach. So you do a half-ass approach. You get that these women are humans. They're not all the same by default. Now, choosing signals explained means that you have to just pick. So here's what I want you guys to do. If you're over here and you're questioning, you go, was that or wasn't it? If you're on this side, you're on split decision, I want you to always just pick this one. Just assume that it's a choosing signal. Assume that she's interested in you. And then just walk up to her and say, hey, what's up with all that hair flipping you're doing my way? Call her out on it. Make her funny. Make her laugh. Make her enjoy your presence. She might go, what? What do you mean? I wasn't doing that. You go, yeah, okay. You see, you play it cool. You play it confident. You get to have your pick of the litter then. Because if you just assume that you're attractive and are the type of guy that's even receiving choosing signals by default, well, you're going to kick ass. Because this guy over here is going to be stuck in his brain for the rest of his life wondering, oh, is it a choosing signal? Should I approach? And then he's going to go home after the bar and never approach. And when he's the type of guy that never approaches, well, now that's the type of guy that's pissed off because he's never getting any women. I advise you just to believe in yourself that you just got a free mate signal. Now, here's the thing. Women do not just stare for nothing. Like, if you catch her looking, especially more than once, she likes what she sees. Now, here's what you have to solely remember about women, is that women are shy. Okay, she is supposed to be the timid one. Like, she's supposed to be the nervous one. She's supposed to be the one who's unsure. Because biologically, this makes sense. Like, the little hot 100-pound girl that you want, the 100-pound woman that's looking all sexy, like, she is probably going to be intimidated by the strong man. And this just makes sense in nature. Like, this makes sense biologically. She is going to be hardwired to find strength, which means women are the choosers. Like, she's unsure, she's nervous. If she finds you attractive, you have to make that approach. This is the reason why men must approach, which means she is looking at you to be the man. So you got to have the balls to actually make that happen. Because you have to essentially just say, fuck your comfort zone. Like, your masculinity as well as your happiness solely depends on you getting over the fact that your brain and your comfort zone is controlling you. And if you can release this, if you can release the outcome from the comfort zone, well, now basically the whole world is your oyster. Because you got rid of all of the things that were holding you back. And you let her play her role in this, and you let yourself play your role in this. And because of that, you're going to have an awesome experience with women. Now, also the reason why men must approach is because the big, strong man in her eyes is still a big, strong man. And it's supposed to be easier for you to take rejection than her. Because you got to realize women cannot take rejection. Like, they just can't. Their egos, who they are is too fragile. I've never seen a woman take rejection very well. Post-breakup, they will cry and cry and cry and cry and cry and ask their friends why. And, like, women are not used to being dumped or taking rejection. It's just how it is. They're used to be looked at as the prize. They're used to this. And they're emotional. Remember this. This stems from everything. You have to make the approach. You have to be the rational one that walks his ass up to her, makes his approach, makes it strong, makes it flirty, acts confident with it, and takes control of the situation, because that's what she's waiting for a man to do to her. Now, you have to learn to also talk to everybody, because the thing is you're not going to actually escape this when to approach symptom until you just start approaching people in general. Until you just start actually talking to everybody. I mean, this is everybody, men or women, big or tall, fat or skinny, strong or weak, soft or intimate, hard or intimate, that should say, but you get the gist. These are each opposites of each other. Sexy or ugly, like, it doesn't matter. If you learn to talk to people, all of a sudden you can talk to women. And if you can talk to people in general and not women, you will now get all the women, because now you know how to talk to people. Because, like, hot women are just people too. This is what you got to realize. And yeah, like, they may have more confidence, on the exterior, but oftentimes these women are the most fragile and insecure because they're competing against all of the other really hot women. So they may have more confidence to them than most girls, and they may have more options, but here's what you got to remember. At the end of the day, they're just girls. At the end of the day, they're a girl. Like, she's female. And girls just want guys. And if you can actually start talking to everybody, attraction is natural, because now you're an attractive man. You're an attractive man to men and women. Men think that you're cool. They're going to think that you're respectable. Women are going to think you're hot and that you're sexy. This is what you need to just carry this whole frame and demeanor with you 24/7. You have to actually change who you are. And hold up, let's go back to that. When I say change who you are, a lot of men don't like to hear that. They like to go, well, I want the girl to like me for me. I want everybody to like me for me. Well, guess what, bud? The world doesn't work that way. And if you're not having success, it might be in your best interest just to change. Change some things about you. Don't change your whole identity, but if you're stuck in this is how I am mode, and that's not working for you, it might be time to branch out. So you're not constantly asking yourself, when do I actually approach? Now, after a couple weeks of this mentality, where you just look for the choosing signals. And by the way, the men who get the choosing signals are the men who are doing the work. It's the men who already are attractive. It's the men who put in so much work to make themselves a high-value, strong, dependable male that women can tell that these are the type of men that they want. You walk different, you talk different, your swag is different. In your hometown or wherever you are, people probably know about you. that means that you're on your grind. And the thing is hot women are 10 times less intimidating then. Because if you can just talk to people right here in general, well, now hot women are just part of this group of people. And since you're used to talking to people, you can now talk to women. And that's facts. They're not intimidating when you realize everybody's human on the inside. So when to approach? Dude, you can approach whenever the hell you want. Because results come when you realize one thing in life and one thing only, that there are no fucking rules. If you could take one thing away from week 2, I want you to take this away. There are no fucking rules to any of this. Like, literally none. As long as you do not break the law, you can basically do whatever the hell you want, whenever you want, as many times as you want to do it. Because the world is your oyster, dude. And there's always a few things I tell men, if they can get down, they're probably like, they're going to be the happiest men on earth. If you can get your health, your wealth, and your relationships on point, the only thing that's missing in that is your faith. And that's an easy fix when you look for the higher up. If you can combine all of those, dude, there is going to be nothing holding you back. Now, you need to stop letting society dictate how you carry yourself, because there are no fucking rules. Society's going to try to hold you down, man. They're going to try to tell you to live a certain way. People are going to tell you it's not normal to approach women. People are going to think you're insane, or you got massive balls, or you're doing it for the ego. Dude, you have to basically ignore everybody, because everybody is a 99%er. And you do not want to be like the mass majority of men. You want to be the 1% of men that is different, the 1% of men that is work ethic driven, the 1% of men that kicks ass in this world. So, like, you can talk to whoever you want, whenever you want, no matter what. And as the man, you are the leader. And men are leaders, and we need more of them. So here's what I wanted to show you guys. You have a man who questions his approach, and you have a man who just approaches. So if you give these guys the exact same situations, the first situation is perfect, where like the girl's just giving choosing signals. This guy's going to question and go, shit, was that a choosing signal? And he won't make the approach. He won't talk to her. This guy's going to realize that, hey, this girl's staring at him, and he gets an A+, because she's going to end up having sex with him and loving him. Now, the next one. The next situation could be this. You have a guy who leads an interaction. So let's say this guy who's used to approaching, he just leads. He just tells her what to do and where to go. This guy offers it as a question. Would you like to get a drink with me sometime? He leaves it up to her. She's wondering, why is there an indecisive man in front of me? She says no. This guy just leads and says, hey, come with me. This guy gets the A+. Okay? I mean, they're polar opposites. If you're a guy who's constantly questioning himself, constantly wondering what the rules are, what the politically correct thing to do is, you will never have what this guy has. Because you could give a guy who's used to approaching and used to just having A+ situations, it's like people who win in life just keep on fucking winning. And this is the God honest truth, because if you give a guy who's used to winning a shit situation, what he's going to do is make the most of it. And he's going to probably turn this around, and he's going to make lemonade. You give this man lemons, this motherfucker's going to make some lemonade real fucking quick. You give another guy who questions everything, you give him perfect lemons, not one mole or bruise on the bitches, and he's going to bitch and complain because he doesn't have enough sugar. You are being a bitch. Stop being a bitch. This is not even a dating course. Should just be a fucking course to tell you how to like man up a little bit. Stop being this guy that questions himself. This is going to hold you the fuck back. This is going to hold you back in your relationships, your habits, your wealth, your finances. Fucking dude, you ain't going to get that promotion. You're not going to get anything because you have no authority. You got no bass in your voice. People walk on you then. Women will walk on you. Now, get this. Most hot women never get hit on in real life. How do I know this? Because I've been with hot women. And they all tell me the same thing. Men are pansy asses. Men are fucking losers. Men are lame. Men don't even talk to us. Men just hit us up on Snapchat. And this is what hot women typically have to work with. They get to work with creeps. They get to work with thirsty men on Tinder, men on Instagram inboxes, men who can text them all day but are losers in real life and can't hold a conversation, or drunks or party boys or more losers. This is what hot women get to deal with, is just a bunch of guys who walk up to them and spit some shit. Now, why the fuck wouldn't the hot one want you? If you're putting in the work, if you're putting in the work right here to be this guy, the A plus, the approacher, the guy who has his shit together, like we talked about earlier, you're now adding value to her life. You're a guy who has quality. You're a guy who can seduce her and make her wet and has his shit together, so she would be like, I wouldn't mind having a family with this guy one day. I wouldn't mind being with this guy for a little while. That is what you need. Because the default mentality needs to be this: I'm entitled and I can get whatever I want. And if you have that arrogance to you, well, you're now going to succeed with women because women love that type of guy. This guy right here that's okay with saying that will win 100% of the time. And you gotta realize that she doesn't even want any of these men on the internet. She wants a man with balls. So just have some balls. Like, have some balls, dude. When to approach all of them. Approach the girl at the candy store. Approach the girl at the ice cream shop. Approach the girl at Starbucks. Approach the girl in the club. Approach the girl who you're intimidated by. Approach the girl who's 600 pounds and you would never sleep with. Like, I don't care who you approach, man. They're all people. If you can talk to one, you can talk to all of them. And you got to realize this, man, your brain does not want you to win. Your brain is not going to want you to win. Your brain is going to tell you to shut up and sit down and just shut the hell up. You have to go against it and you have to do what's actually going to better you. Now, in this video, you're going to want to pay attention because I tell you exactly what to say step by step, and I also tell you exactly what not to say. Now, if you're a man who knows what to say to a female, it's going to be very easy because not only am I going to show you how to never run out of things to say, but I'm also going to show you exactly how to make sure she has high interest. Now, what you must know is you must know this. Everything in life that you do is not about what you say. It is about how you say it. It's about the conviction and the tonality in your voice that says one thing and one thing only, and that's I've been there before. Now, let me show you exactly what I mean by this. If I walk up to a girl and I say, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute. I really wanted to meet you. What's your name?" Do you hear how timid I sound and how the energy is just off? There's no masculinity in my voice at all. If I walk up to her like this, so, and I say, "Hey, damn, like I saw you. You're cute. Like you got a look to you. What's your name?" I might have to get to know you. Okay, you see how the tonality and the expression is just completely different. What the second version says is the second version says, "Hey, I've been here before. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm also not afraid to show you I'm interested. And I have no issues with potentially getting rejected." Okay, you have to be okay with defeat. Another way that I like to project it is in sales. You know, if you talk to a prospect, whether that be you're trying to sell a deal on the phone or you're trying to sell a deal, you know, let's say you're trying to close some sort of deal. If you say it like this, if you say, "Hey, so the price is $300 and I think you're really going to love it. All of our clients love it. You know, it's our best deal. You should really buy it." You see how I'm timid again? I'm trying to get them to buy into me. There's no conviction in my voice. When I take control and I have masculinity in my voice, it sounds like this. Here's the deal. The price is $300 a month. I'm extremely confident that not only can this solve your issue, but you will never run into these issues in the future. This is an investment that's going to completely change your life. Now, when you say it like that, it's, whoa. Okay, I trust this guy. I believe this guy. Masculinity builds trust. She knows you're not full of shit then. She knows you're not beating around the bush. She knows you are what you say you are, and it helps filter out men who are not real. You must realize that being more direct and being more forward is going to help you in every way, shape, and form. Now, here's the deal. If you put in the work from week one with your health, your wealth, your ambition, you know, some men call it looks, money, status, whatever you want to call it, it will show in your confidence. It will show in your demeanor. And what I'd call it is, I call it the entitlement mentality. So if you're a man who can kind of have this entitlement mentality where you think you're deserving of whatever it is you set your mind to, you are going to literally get whatever you want. Now, there's two types of men. Okay, there's men who wait for life to come to them, and there's men who have balls and take life by the horns and just they're in control and they come to life. Now, men who wait for life to come to them, they're going to keep saying the same things. They're going to go, "Oh, I really hope God just blesses me and brings me a good girl, one that loves me." This type of man is just going to go out and find girls. This guy is going to go, "Oh, one day maybe I'll make more money. Maybe one day my finances will turn around and I'll have that dream life." This guy goes, "Fuck, I got a goal next month. Next month I want to figure out how to make 20 grand." This guy's decisive. This guy's motivated. This guy has an actual plan and a belief in action. This guy has no confidence in himself because he's waiting for life to just stumble in front of him. He's waiting for the girl to just pop up in front of him. He's waiting for the boss to just come up and just say, hopefully one day, "Here's your promotion." This guy goes out and finds the women. This guy comes to the boss's office and says, "Look, I need this promotion by Tuesday because I'm worth it, and this is why." This guy over here with the nuts is the one who's going to win every single time. The world doesn't care about your struggles. Women do not give a fuck about your struggles. The world only rewards success. The world only rewards winners. The world only rewards the guys with the nuts. So stop bitching about how it is and just have some nuts. I call it the entitlement mentality. You have to start to be entitled in your speech. You have to feel like you've been there before. You have to feel like you deserve it. Now, here's the catch. I put this in all stars because this is one of the most important things. You gotta realize this. You will never attract what you do not feel entitled to. I have never walked up to my life and spoke to a girl who I did not think was out of my league or who I thought I couldn't get. I only speak to women who I know damn sure I can get. And the thing is that back in the day, I didn't think I could get any girl. I didn't think I could get anybody. But guess what? When you work your way up the ladder, you practice. Eventually, you build the confidence to realize, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Even if this girl's really sexy, really attractive, really cute, I'm confident in my skills that I can pull her, I can get her. And women can tell if the guy's been there before. Now, don't worry, I'm going to give you step by step here as to what to do and what to say. But for now, let's install some beliefs. Maybe not right away, but give it time. Give it time where she gets to know you for maybe a week, 2 weeks. Let's say you got high enough attraction to get your foot in the door. Well, now she starts peeling back the layers and testing you. She's going to notice if you are what you say you are or not. And the scarcity mindset of him losing her will always eventually shine through if it looks like that man is not ready to actually handle her. Now, it will show if you've been there before. Once again, Barry Sanders and the NFL touchdown. I said this already. All of the other football players would spike the ball. They would celebrate. They would throw Gatorade on their coach. They would do all this shit to celebrate the win. And Barry would just walk over with his hand and he would just give the ball to the ref. And Barry was one of the most star running back athletes ever in football. Why? Because he was respected and he's been there before. His actions would speak louder than his words. Barry Sanders was there before, so he didn't feel the need to showboat and spike the football. He just kept scoring touchdowns and winning. That's what you have to be. That's what you have to do. You have to be a man who has that edge to him. Now, you got to realize, man, there's levels to this shit. If you've been with women in the past who you would categorize like a 5 or a 6 and that's what you're used to dating, well, then that's what your brain is going to tell you that you can get. There's levels to this. If you want more attractive women, you have to talk to everybody and work your way up the ladder. Just like I said in the previous ones. That way, it's not so intimidating and so scary when you meet her. That way, it feels like you've been there before. That way, it feels like you deserve her. Now, eventually, you want to get your idea of a perfect 10 in your head, and then when you see that woman and you're manifesting it, you want a perfectly hold masculine frame. What does that mean? It means since you've been there so many times before, since you've worked your way up the ladder to have this success, since you're putting in the work, since you talk to other women, since you've built your way up the ladder, now you're ready to actually hold frame and hold calm, cool, seductive mode in front of this woman. Why is that? Because it looks like you've been there before. And at this point, it's not even going to look like you've been there before. The fact is that you actually have been there before. And the guy who gets the 10, man, he has to have it all. He has the eyes down, he has the tone of voice down, he has the mannerisms down, and you have to seem like the guy who can get the 10. Okay, the guy who can get the 10 has the perfect package, and I'm not going to put this on the board. I'm just going to talk about it. This guy can hold the seductive eyes. This guy has no shame in holding eye contact the whole time with a woman. He has the deep bass, the seductive tone in his voice where he's whispering the right things. He's getting her turned on. He's sexual. Like, this guy doesn't give a fuck. The voice matches the eyes match the mannerism matches the voice. You get it. It all works together. You start to seem like a guy who can get 10s. But you can't do this until you're attractive. Okay, you can't just start to act like this if you're freaking overweight and don't have shit going for you. Like, dude, you have to actually get your health, wealth, and well-being in check before you can use these techniques. There's levels to this shit, man. Now, masculine frame needs to be in check 24/7. I would put a star in your fucking notebook and write this, put it on the dash of your car if you have to. No girly voice ever. No high-pitched, overly excited voice. Right? None of that. No being the loudmouth at the bar that needs all the attention. I want you guys in seduction mode 24/7, and this takes work. It takes work to just be very rational and very laid back and calm and cool. And when you say that flirtatious line, like, you mean it so deeply, like you know that you've been there before, it takes a lot of work to get to that standpoint. And your girl needs to really think of you as the man, not a boy, not her friend, not a cute guy that she likes. None of that. She needs to think of you as the fucking rock solid man. Like the guy that fucks the shit out of her, or the guy that is husband material, or whatever you. Yeah, obviously, those are times are two different guys. Keep that one in mind too. We'll get to that later. But she has to view you as the man. She has to view you as the man that just does it for her. And most men fuck this up at some point. It might be 6 months into the relationship. It might be a decade into the relationship. It might be after the second date. Eventually, everybody breaks frame and there's a chink in the armor. And then she pulls back and he goes haywire. So you have to stop being a bitch. You have to keep this frame in check. I don't want you guys spiteful at women. I want you to love women. Women are great. But you need to keep this in check. So that way you can keep her. And she doesn't fall into the wrong energy of being masculine and trying to boss you around. You fall into the right energy of keeping her feminine. It's key. Now, I'm going to break down exactly what to say in 11 steps on this slide. Now, what to say, step 1 is do not get stuck in 20 questions mode. Okay, 20 questions mode right here is going to kill you. And you have to remember, most men get caught up in this 20 questions mode frame and phrase in their life. They get caught up in this because they're not really like used to having to develop a seductive edge, or they're not used to really getting emotional with a woman and giving her like an emotional spike or something like that. So what to say is step 1. You do not just want to ask her a bunch of get to know you questions. You don't want to beat around the bush. And you got to realize that women actually need to feel something in order to be attracted. And this emotion that they feel, it doesn't have to always be positive. Remember, the guy that actually makes their emotions go haywire, highs and lows. This is oftentimes why women will stay in abusive or toxic relationships. It's because the guy that can run her emotions and spike them is the guy that she loves and gets wet for. It's just human nature. That's the guy who can do a doozy on that woman, and she cannot control it. Now, your best bet is to get a reaction. And let me explain to you what I mean by this. You could literally walk up to her. You could walk up to a woman, and if you said, hey, I hate your jacket, which is just a total diss, a total, like, there's no way in hell you should ever just say that to a stranger. You should not say that to somebody. But since this right here evoked an emotion called hate or anger or rage, that would be one step closer to actually getting her to like you, or getting her to be sexually attracted to you, I should say, than just talking to her and going, hey, what do you do for a living? Because most men have no idea how to talk to girls. They don't know what gets them to tick. They don't understand what gets them, their emotions going. And you gotta realize she does not want to talk logically. She wants to actually feel something. Okay? And women need a wide array of emotions. So this is what I mean. Here's you. You're flat. You're stable. You're nice. You're kind, you're caring, you are sweetie, you're amazing, you always text back. This is you. And that's why you don't fucking get the girl ever, because she's used to this guy. She wants this guy. This guy's a dick right here. The next day he says, I love you. The next day he doesn't talk to her for the next 20 hours on text message. He's doing something else with his time. Maybe he's on his purpose. Maybe he's with a different woman. Makes her emotions go haywire. Then the next day he's mad at her. Then this day he's sad and doesn't want anything to do with her. And then right here he loves her again. This is the guy right here that will literally win every single time with the woman. And the reason why he actually wins with the woman is strictly because this guy understands female nature and female psychology. And if you understand this, you win. Now, what to say step 2? So what is step 1? Step 1 is don't get stuck in 20 questions mode. Step 1 is literally just make her feel something. Make her feel anything. It can even be something as simple as like, you're cute. I wanted to come over and see if you're like actually a fun chick. Or you seem like you might be kind of like a sassy type woman. Is that true? Like, show me the opposite of that. Or like whatever the hell you want to say. You got to remember, man, like you just got to be normal and then start to throw in some flirtatious gestures. That's step 1. Okay, you can really just say anything. You just got to get a reaction. Could be love, could be hate, could be anger, could be a compliment. Like, dude, I don't care. Say it fun, say it flirty, poke at her a little bit. Number 2, realize that you actually need a solid interaction. Meaning, don't just come over here and diss her. Like, this was an example. You need to have a solid interaction. There needs to be smiles, there needs to be flirts, there needs to be smooth talk, and there needs to be a wide array of emotion. Now, remember this. The only way you can do this stuff is if you actually have your shit together. Because if you come into this interaction right here with negative energy and you're sad about the day, or you're mad your girl left, or you're mad about anything, she's not going to reciprocate that energy. She's going to be turned off by you, which is why you have to have yourself in check. Now, you got to remember this too. Most men are so logical that they assume this. They go, building comfort by just talking and spending more time with her will equal attraction. And this is false. Building comfort does not equal more attraction in her head. In fact, building more comfort and beating around the bush just shows that you're scared and you're intimidated. Now, the nice guy, what he will do, the NG, the nice guy, will, let's say he has a 1-hour date with her. He will talk to her about her work, her career path, what she's interested in, how great it is to see her. And then at the end, he goes, we should do this again sometime. And she goes, oh my God, yeah. And then guess what? He never gets a fucking call back. This dude who's like a dick, maybe, or he's just blunt. Let's say he's a dick or he's blunt, right? He'll just get right to the point. This guy might walk up and he'll just be like, you know, damn, baby. I'm feeling that tight dress. She might go, oh, you're such a pig. But guess what? If she's attracted to him, that right there is going to turn her on. And that's female nature for you. This guy also can just sit back on the date, chill, act not super interested, kind of just do his own thing, eat the food, maybe say 5-10 words, and then go home. And then when he goes home and she's sitting there going, oh my God, he didn't even talk. He's such an ass. I wonder if he's seeing somebody else that's better than me. And now she's fallen in love with him. So while you're over here with the bouquet of flowers and the other guy's not really saying much, talking to her, giving her any emotional stability, but this is the guy who's hitting it from the back from her 4 nights a week, you're going to understand why. Because females, remember, are biologically hardwired to seek strength in a man. They are not hardwired to seek love. Do you get that? She's sexually attracted to strength, just like you're sexually attracted to intimacy, right? You need to actually start to understand this. You need to stop playing that nice guy card. You have to get out of nice guy frame. Just because you're smiling and you're flirting and you're smooth talking does not mean that you're a nice man who's just giving her all of this validation. They're two different things. They're completely different. And just because there needs to be this in the interaction, like obviously there needs to be this. You didn't come up and approach her for no reason. And it doesn't make any sense to come up to a stranger and be rude to them. But what I'm saying is over time, it could be a course of 30 minutes in the interaction or even fucking 6 months down the road. You have to kind of show that you're the type of guy who's used to doing things like this. Okay, so that's step 2. Realize that you need a solid interaction. The solid interaction has to have some emotion to it. And I will put that in bold for you right there. Number 3, you have to remove the logical brain in your head almost completely. Completely if you can. If you can remove the logical brain and turn this off, right? If you can turn this off and be like, listen, I'm turning the logical brain off. I'm getting fully in touch with my body and I'm going to just do me for a second and have some fun. You got to realize this. It's just like the song, girls just want to have fun. This is so true. Women just want to have fun. And they thrive off of any type of emotion. This is why you see women that just want drama sometimes. It's because drama makes them feel something. This is why you see women bitch with other women and they get angry. This is why you see them want to have fun sometimes and just shake their ass at a club. This is also why some women are sad and will just eat cookies in a bathtub all day and cry, and then the next day they're in love, and the next day they want sex, and like women just want to feel anything. Like if you can be that rock solid guy that's like strong and dominant in his life, but then also knows how to evoke some of these out of her, you're like the perfect guy. That is a perfect 10 in her eyes because he has shit going for him that makes him strong and stable, but he also can move her off center to make her feel something. So step 3 is remove all logic from your brain. What makes sense in your head does not make her wet between the legs. They do not correlate. And this is why men who women call assholes or men who give women emotional uncertainty always get the girl. It's because he can make her feel something. Step 4, realize it does not only have to be positive emotion. And this could not be further than anything from the truth. If it's only positive emotion, then she's going to know exactly where you stand with her. She's going to know that you're just a nice guy who's just super upbeat and positive and in love with her. That does not work with women. Uncertainty with women equals love. They love the turmoil. They love the toxicity. They love their emotions going haywire. She loves this right here. Blah, right there. You see all these scribbles? That's what she loves. The more chaotic it can be between you and her, as in, and not chaotic as in like, I want you guys to be abusive emotionally and shit. But you have to be able to actually give some uncertainty. If she knows where she stands with you, the chase and the game is over. Women thrive off this. Men who are on their purpose, you have to realize this too. Men who are on, if you're on your purpose, it's like 10 times easier too, because if you're on your purpose, you don't have time to give all day to these women. You don't have time to text back all the time. So naturally, this raises her attraction. She's like, ooh, I wonder what he's doing. Is he actually on his purpose, or is he fucking some other girl? Is he texting somebody else? Is he on a date? That's what she's going to be thinking. You have to let the uncertainty raise her attraction. Step 5, think of yourself as a sexy, this shouldn't say who is a sexy seductive man. This should say, think of yourself as a sexy / seductive man, not a nice guy. So the sexy / seductive man is literally willing to say the edgy thing. The edgy thing that's going to turn her on. He's also going to be willing to offend. He also does not necessarily care about the outcome because let's say she doesn't like him, well, he'll just go find another girl. And she can tell this about him. That's what's going to raise her attraction. And this guy looks out for his best interest. Why? Because he's sexy. He's not nice. Nice does not get you laid. And I'm not even saying, like, I don't know what your beliefs are. Maybe you're not trying to get laid. Maybe you're trying to find a significant other. But guess what? You're not going to find a significant other unless you actually get these things down. Because when we get into relationships in the further week, it needs to be her pursuing for it. Okay, you have to actually start thinking of yourself as this. Number 6, you have to realize this. Write this down. This is like one of the most important things. This probably is the most important point of this whole thing. Teasing is your best friend. Women get addicted to chasing your validation. Okay, she doesn't want your sex. She wants your validation. She wants to know that you want to have sex with her. She wants to know that You want to give attention and time with her. That is what she wants. And that's why women love Instagram and they love all the likes, they love all the validation. Okay, she will want to make herself appear on your level. Because here's what you got to remember, women are going to just follow. If she's appearing like she's on your level, she's following your lead. What I mean by this is, if you're teasing and play flirting with her and you're pushing towards like the idea of sex potentially, she might start to categorize you as like that strong dominant dude that probably does this a lot or gets this a lot. It actually might raise her attraction. You seem like the type of guy that's good with girls. But this exact same girl, if you come off to her and you play nice guy card, well, all of a sudden she's going to play good girl back, which means that even if she's a good girl with you, chances are she's a very bad girl with somebody else, which is why teasing is your best friend, because you get to pick the whole situation. Teasing, what you have to remember, is play flirting. And teasing sets the mood for sex. Teasing starts to poke emotions. It could be positive, it could be negative, it could be anything that makes her feel something about herself. Just maybe a slight insecurity you pick at, anything like that. What it is you're finding a chink in her armor. And she starts to realize that, hey, she's not maybe a 10 in your eyes. She's the type of girl that you can poke fun at. And you can literally just make fun of anything about her. And I put playful, of course, because you don't want to be a total dick that's just really offensive, like saying stupid shit, like, you know, like you smell, or like making fun of weight or anything like that. But like little stuff, you know, anything you notice about her wardrobe, what she wears, what she's like. Maybe she has a weird laugh or something like that. You'd be like, do you always laugh like that? What do you mean? Okay, you get what I mean? Gets her in this intimate mood. She will be drawn to this. One of my favorite lines is this: you look like the type of girl that XYZ. Make XYZ fit whatever it is that you want. You look like the type of girl that gets kind of freaky and has a wild side. You look like the type of girl that might be into naughty, dirty things. If you said that, she's like, maybe I am. Well, you already know what she's thinking about you with. Okay, if you say you look like the type, you can find out a lot about a woman with that word. Step 7. Men lead the interaction and women need to follow. Remember, she is fitting your bill. She will essentially conform to whatever you want her to be if she's attracted to you. And you're in control of the outcome, meaning if she's acting like a good girl for you, chances are she has been a bad girl for somebody else. There's no such thing as good girls and bad girls. If you push the interaction towards whatever frame you want, whether that be coffee date or sex or going to get a drink, she's going to follow your suit. And depending on where she is in the comfortability factor with you is how soon she's actually going to agree to the things that you're doing, which is why you have to be socially calibrated. But you got to remember this, fellas. There's church girls out there that a lot of times were like, you know, big time just slept around back in the day. Or there's, you know, girls who are very, very active in the church, but like they also on weekends like have a double life where they're with all these different types of men. Like you can never categorize a girl. Women will literally follow the leader. And if the man is acting like a leader in front of her, she will just do whatever fits that bill. And that's going to be how she is attracted. Step 8. Work the words. Work the words over time, fellas. You have to work these words over time. A man who can master the mouthpiece is a man who can make the woman fall in love. So like I say, do not rush your interactions. These need to be calm. These need to be cool. These need to be masculine. You might sit with her for 5 minutes. You might sit with her for 10 minutes. You might be at a bar or a club and sit with her and talk to her for 3 hours that night before you go home with her, or before you take her to a different location or whatever the hell you want to do. This is totally on you. Okay, you're not in a rush to exit the interaction, because why would you be? There's so many men, they hop up, they say, hey, what's up? They try to get the number and they try to get out as fast as they can. That is not what you want to do. Because if you rush the interaction, you no longer build any sort of familiarity with her. And people like what's familiar to them. If she can get an idea of your personality for a little bit, it's going to make her more comfortable for you to actually take control and lead her and have her follow it. And remember this, as long as she's still in front of you, she likes you. Okay, as long as she's right in front of you, she likes you. And if you're doing the no pornography, if you're doing the no jacking off, if you're doing all of that, Well, dude, you have all of the things going for you that basically says, hey, I'm strong and I'm used to meeting women in real life. And like, this is a natural thing for you. Now, when you work the words, you're going to realize that you need verbal escalation over time that is natural. And men rush this. They think, oh my gosh, if I don't flirt and I don't make that impression that's edgy in the first minute, I'm fucked. And that's not true. You know, you can laugh or crack a joke or make fun of her a little bit, but you don't need to start getting all smooth and seductive on a stranger. That's what I mean is you have to be socially calibrated. You have to, that's why I want you guys to start speaking to everybody. Talk to the clerk, talk to your teacher, talk to your mom for 2 hours once. Just talk to people. Actually talk to people and not cell phones. Stop watching YouTube, stop watching all that. Start interacting with people. Talk to your coworkers, talk to your boss, talk to the sexy secretary. So that way when you flirt and you escalate verbally, all of this starts to come off natural. You got to remember this. A man with a good mouthpiece has the best chance at getting women to fall in love. There's men that are in jail for years that can keep a woman attached and attracted over visiting hours because he can work the words the right way. Women fall in love through emotion. Men fall in love through their eyes. Women fall in love through your words. Master the mouthpiece. This is the first and damn near only step in seduction. You can damn near make a girl wet just by talking to her on the phone the right way. By you say some shit like, "Oh, what you wearing? You wearing something sexy tonight for me? You got something hot for daddy tonight?" Like you can get her in that mood without even touching her, without even looking at her. Like you can, and obviously you got to know her to start to get to that level with her. But fellas, you have to realize these women will follow whatever outcome you want as long as they like you and are attracted to you and it's not forced. That's what you have to remember. Now, step 9. She needs to feel something with your words. She has to feel something. She must feel emotional spikes. Okay, if she can feel an emotional spike, she's going to end up getting to right here. She's going to feel that need that where she'll go, hey, this just happened. If she can feel like this just happened, like, check this out. Let's say you're a guy. You bumped into her at the bar right here. You said, what's up? You said that was a bold choice for her to wear this dress in a club like that, and she doesn't seem like the type of girl who would dress like that, or is, you know, it'd be like that's type of a Scandi. That's a bit of a Scandi dress for a good girl like yourself. You could say that. She go, oh, what do you mean, good girl? And you're like, oh, you know, you could. She would say, what do you mean, good girl? Why do you say that? And then you say, oh, never mind, right? You bring her back down. You act like you're not interested, and you see how you went from up here to here. You act like you're not interested. Now you play flirt back here. You tell her that she's cute, but you don't know about her yet. You think that there's something weird with her, and you can pick XYZ, whatever it is. You start to talk about her the more you get to know her. This point could come at 5 minutes. This point could come at 2 minutes, right? This point could come at 30 seconds, or hell, this point could come at 5 minutes. This point could come at 10 minutes of talking. This point could come at 12. Like, there are no rules to this. But as you go through the emotional roller coaster, she's going to be like, oh my God, this just happened. I just bumped into this guy. Like, we started talking. We hit it off. That's what she's going to tell all of her friends. If she can get in that mode with you, like there's a narrative, there's a story, there's a history to all of this, the meaning it's normal. That is how you're calibrated. That is how you stay calibrated. Okay, that's how you stay calibrated through the whole interaction. If you're the guy who's the dud, right? If you're the guy who's the flat, like you're just nice the whole way through. Hey, can I buy you a drink? Hey, you look cute. I like you. Hey, we should get your number. Let's get coffee sometime. This is boring as fuck. She's going to go back to her friends and go find a different guy at the club, or she's going to go find a different guy at the bar, or wherever the hell you're looking for these women. You have to learn how to upgrade your personality a little bit here, because if you can do that, you're now a social badass, which is like key. That's a major key. Okay, cut that key. This is what you need. Okay, so that's the next step with this. She needs to feel something with your words. Women are nowhere near as visual with men. Looks get your foot in the door, but what you say after matters most. Base attraction has to be there, but men who can't talk can never keep her engaged. What I mean by this is the guy who cannot speak to keep her emotionally engaged will never get her successfully in the long term. You can work on your body. You can get the good looks. You can get your foot in the door with many, many, many women. But if you do not upgrade the charisma, you're fucked, man. Step 10. Realize the rational brain has nothing to do with attraction. And I think we already talked about this. But basically, you got to turn off all rational thinking and realize since you're in control, it's all on you. It's all on you, and it always has been on you. And since it always has been on you, you need to put more pressure on yourself to start capitalizing on these things since now you know this. And step 11, honesty builds trust. This is where all men go wrong because all men beat around the bush. So you need to strictly just say what you like about her, say what you think about her, say what you don't like about her, say what you're unsure of about her, and make her qualify on things to you other than looks. Just because you approach does not mean she gets you right away. Think about that for a second. Why should she get you? Because if you're putting in all this work with your body and with your finances and you got your health in order, dude, you deserve a really good girl. But you got to remember this. Women do not trust weak men who are timid and who beat around the bush. They trust honest men. If you get to minute 15 in the interaction and you're at the bar and you go, you know what, I would really just like to, like if things are going good and you go, I wouldn't mind taking you home tonight. You should come with me right now. Let's do this. She might be so fucking turned on and so happy you did that. She just goes. So start being honest. Start just having the tone of voice where you're just willing to do these things. And I can't do it for you. It takes practice, which is why as a coach, I'm trying to get you to actually get out in the real world a little bit. Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to be teaching you specifically what to do when she rejects you off of the open. So the reason why I'm making this module is because throughout, myself being the leader here of the blueprint and really teaching these guys what to do and, yourself what to do, and even through my experiences, I cannot believe I have not put up a module regarding this topic in the past. This is one of the biggest questions I've been getting on the live chat. They say, Casey, the energy's great, the vibe is great, the chemistry's there, everything should be happening exactly how it should be happening. And then when I say, hey, let's meet up for a drink, or I say, hey, what's your number? I get hit with the no, I get rejected. What the hell is going on? And fellas, I'm going to handle this for you so smoothly. This is probably going to be one of the best tactics you've ever learned when it comes to handling female nature altogether. Now, here's the cold hard fact. At some point, you will get rejected. I get rejected. Everybody gets rejected. Like, you're not going to do it for every woman. Just like, let's say a woman tries to diet down and lose weight, and let's say she's doing the booty thrusts in the gym every week. Like, she there's a chance she still is not going to do it for every single guy. Okay, even if she looks attractive to most guys, not every guy will view her as a 10. Not every girl is going to view you as a 10. At some point, you 100% will get rejected. Now, here's the truth. You may get rejected on 3 different categories. The first is either just the phone number, right? She may reject you from actually receiving her phone number when you ask for it. The second is a date. She may reject going on a date with you. Or the third is just admitting that there's mutual chemistry or mutual attraction. And there may be chemistry, but you notice she will not budge. She's going to act like this isn't anything or, anything like that to where you can't even move her an inch to get her to admit that you guys might have some fun together. This is totally normal. I don't want you to beat yourself up on this. The guy who has the best game in the world and is a stud 10 out of 10 will still run into this at some point. Because women aren't just going to be sold on you automatically. And this is what true confidence is true confidence is pushing past these fears. Now, the guys who are the best in game, myself included, will 100% get rejected at face value at some point. However, there is ways around it, and let's dive in. What I'm about to tell you is literally the most lethal, the most stud tactic that you can use if a woman starts to give you some pushback. And if you use this in front of friends, if you use this in front of anybody, they're going to look at you afterwards with their jaw drop going, how the fuck did you come up with that? Or how the fuck did you just pull that out of your ass? It's the most stud thing to do. Now, here's how the situation usually goes. Someone hits me up, they say, Casey, interaction goes so good. We have chemistry, she's in a good vibe with me, and then all of a sudden, bam, she goes cold. AKA, the interaction is great, but I gotta know. She doesn't want to see me. She doesn't want to go out on a date with me. She doesn't want to give you the number. Here's the truth, fellas. There's 3 reasons why she's not going to do, why she is going to do this, why she will pull this card at some point. Either A, she is nervous, and cut her some slack. She's a girl. Okay, I know we don't pedestalize women. I know we don't put them up on pedestals, but let's be real here. Cut her some slack. She's nervous. If she's hot, so probably between 5 feet tall to 5'5", anywhere from probably 95 to 125 pounds, she's probably nervous. Okay, and this is very true with women. Just remember, like, if you are scared or nervous, she's probably 2 times as nervous as you due to the fact that she is a girl. She's used to being in a weaker position. Like, women receive your energy when you try to impose your will onto her as to get her number. She's the one receiving. She has to take all this in. Cut her some slack. She might be nervous. The second, she wants to say yes, but she's hesitant. And the reason why she's hesitant is because she has 1,000,001 different ideas of what will come about in her head if she gives you the phone number. She might be thinking, what if I give it to him and he's a creep? What if he texts me 100 times per day? What if he, is like my ex-boyfriend and gets super clingy? What if he does this to 1,000,000 girls and is just a player and breaks my heart? This is what she also could be thinking. And the third is, like, if she's just flat out hot, like if she's like a hot fucking girl, like a girl you look at and you're like, fuck, she's hot. She knows she's hot. Everybody thinks she's hot. She already knows that every single guy already wants to fuck her. So how can you stand out? Now, the hidden hack to getting around this is on the very next slide. And I want you to take notes on this entire document here. If you get a no, I want you to write this down. If you get a no, that means you need to know more information. If you get a NO, that means you need to KNOWY. You need to know more information. Why is she not giving me this number? Because she likes your product, and I'm getting salesy on you here. She likes your product. She's willing to have energy and chemistry with you for minutes on end. But she isn't necessarily sold on the product yet. She likes the product. She likes the Nike Air Force Ones. But she needs the sales rep at Foot Locker to convince her why she should get red and not the classic white that all the girls wear. Okay, essentially, you need a better pitch. You need better verbal game. This is where you got to get crafty. This is where most guys fail. I've seen so many meatheads, so many muscle guys, so many business owners. They think their stud attraction alone is just going to make it so that way she should just melt her panties off for them. It's not how it works. Why should she give you the number? You are nothing special. You are nothing special. I want to hammer this in your head one more time. You are nothing fucking special. I am nothing special. 99.999999999% of men are nothing fucking special. If you think you are so high value, so much of a stud that any girl should just give you her number for no fucking reason because it's you and you think you went through this course and all of a sudden you know some game, you're sorely mistaken because that is not how life works. You need to be able to sell people on you. I don't care if it's a woman. I don't care if it's you fighting for a job opportunity. You need to get better at pitching yourself. You need to have good verbal game. Ask her why. You see, most men just overcomplicate this so much. If you get a no, ask her why. That means you need to know more information because as soon as you get the why now you have an angle. Now you can start to dissect her why and bust through her objections. In sales, this is called an objection. When you have an objection when you're selling to somebody, they have reasons why they're not sold on you yet. You need to break those false beliefs. You need to break down those objections one by one. If you get a no, you need to KNOW more information. Ask yourself why. Ask her why instantly. You say, hey, why wouldn't you want to give me the number? Why wouldn't you want to meet up sometime? Why wouldn't you want to meet a cute new guy? Isn't this how interactions are supposed to be? You can say to her, look at this. This is organic. You can be like, how many times do you get actually approach off the street by a dude that's willing to actually have a genuine interaction and see where this goes? I bet you it's not often. And then you can even ask her and say, hey, what's your alternative? Are you going to hop back on Tinder and you want to sit and swipe for hours? Be like, why not make something out of this interaction right now? You need to know more information. Why wouldn't she want to give you the number? Now, here's the thing, fellas. You need to get her to tell you this, and you need to listen very, very, very fucking close. This is another place guys fuck up. They don't listen. Because as she's telling you why, as she's telling most guys why, most guys are sitting there planning what they're going to say next instead of listening to why she's not sold on you. Yes, there might be a few seconds of pausing. It will be okay, I promise. If this is a genuine interaction, people need time to think of things to say. Just like me, you can tell I'm pausing right now. I'm thinking how I'm going to word this to you in the best way. I'm not just rolling off slide by slide. Yeah, I have some bullets here, but I got to formulate what the fuck I'm trying to get across. Women are people. So the more you overcomplicate this, the more you're going to head screw yourself. If you're going to know, you got to find out why you get to know. Think of it, if you showed up to work, if everybody gets paid on the 1st and the 15th of the month, and it's the 15th of the month, and you were the only employee out of 200 that didn't get their paycheck, wouldn't you ask your boss and just say, hey, why didn't I get mine? Typical knowledge. And I do not want you to submit or take no for an answer or essentially walk away after the first no. You have to ask her why. Do not just say, oh, okay, and leave. This is where most guys go wrong too. They just submit. They take no for an answer and they go, oh, there must be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me. Maybe I should watch another pickup video. Maybe I should watch this exact video on Blueprint 10 times over. No, dude. Just understand basic principles, and then we're going to attack them and apply them into action. Now, when you ask her why, this is going to demonstrate two things. The first thing that it's going to demonstrate is a true belief. What you must understand is that the men who are the best with women are the ones who press forward and do not fold after her saying, I have a boyfriend, or hey, I'm not sold on you yet, or I don't think that's a good idea. They don't fold at this. Why don't they fold at this? Because they believe they're enough. They have true self-belief, which leads into true confidence. You got to understand, she is testing you, and oftentimes she's testing to see if you are what you say you are. And when you get a no, and you dig to KNOW, let me put this in red so you understand the correlation here. When you get a no, and you fight the objection to KNOW more info about her, it shows you can sit in the fire for a little while. When it shows you can sit in the fire, this is attractive to her. This is going to raise her buy-in investment to you because now it looks like, hey, this guy's been here, done that before. Whoa, this guy's not just fucking with me. This guy actually wants me. Like, it's on. This guy's imposing his attraction on me. Now it's time to heat her up a little bit and let her know that there's some urgency to this. Like, hey, lady, I'm talking to you. I'm being for real here. Why would you not want to get to know me? Why would you not want this? It's good to ask why, and it's good to be thorough. And it's good to really hammer your point, because if you believe, it's just like if you bought Masculinity Blueprint and you're in this course, how many times did I hammer into you throughout the pitch? I go, Blueprint gets results. Blueprint gets results. Blueprint gets results. What is said, oftentimes over multiple times, what is said becomes true. If you keep telling her we're going to have a good interaction, why wouldn't you want to be with me? Why wouldn't you want to give me the number? Why wouldn't you want to see where this goes? It starts to seem as if she second guesses herself. She can go, oh shit, that's kind of true. Why wouldn't I want to give this guy my number? What is said many times over becomes true. What is repeated becomes true. What is talked about and focused on becomes the focal point, becomes true. This is key. Men who fold at the first no are weak and nervous and do not know how to sit in the fire when times get tough. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it because they think that they're broken and that there's something wrong with them. There's nothing fucking broken with you, because men that are great with women still have to play the game. What is the game? The game is what's going on right now. Cat and mouse, back and forth, chase a little bit. You got to pressure her a little harder. Now, in sales, the saying in sales goes like this. The closing process really only begins once we ask for the credit card. And that's so true. Before I've sold off, I've sold off of a lot of things. I've sold in person before. I've sold my services on a webinar. If you're in Blueprint right now, you probably bought Blueprint on a webinar. You hopped on my live stream. I said, hey, this is what you're going through. This is how I can help. Yada, yada. Especially like if a person's closing on the phone. The closing process really only begins once we ask for the credit card. The same goes for women. The closing process really only begins once we ask for the phone number. There's going to be guys where they go, oh man, we had such a great interaction. I learned that she was from Pennsylvania and she graduated from Baylor with a fucking MBA in I don't know, and she works at this place, and she has 3 friends, and oh man, we were vibing so good. And then I asked for the number, and she just said no, and I didn't know what to do. Yeah, dude, you didn't even start the closing process. You didn't even start. You played a fake game of talking back and forth, and she was just polite. The closing process only begins once we ask for the phone number. Your game is only as good as how you can frame it once you get hit with an objection. You need to understand this. This is ridiculously key because in life, nobody's going to give you anything easy. The girl makes you work for it. The boss makes you work for it. If you have a product or service, the client makes you work for it. Obviously, you guys can tell I like sales. I'm in sales, but like everything in life is a sale. If you don't understand this, you're going to be really hurt in life when people aren't just sold on you for being you. Well, I wish she would like me for me. It doesn't work like that. Work the words a little bit. Now, here's the deal. When you ask her why, and now you know what her big why is, we begin the process of reframing. Okay, reframe this interaction now to fit her big why. If now once you figure this big why out, your only job is to take a sledgehammer and crush the big why. Your job is to knock down the big why. Because now we're reframing. If you look at what reframing is, I moved the first one here because it doesn't matter, but the second, because the first doesn't pertain, it's like something about like holding a picture frame or something. But the second, frame or express words or a concept or plan differently. I reframed my question. This is the dictionary definition of it. Why am I putting a dictionary definition of it here? Because you must understand that words have meaning. Words have meaning. What you tell people has meaning. What you can make this woman feel that's sitting in front of you emotionally has meaning. It has so much meaning. It has so much meaning, and I'm going to tell you why. Masculinity Blueprint, right here, the course that you're in, when I first started selling it on a webinar, it was a complete flop. Okay? It was a complete flop. And even though the product was the same, I couldn't sell it. And why couldn't I sell it? Because the words I was trying to speak to the buyer, to show the buyer how I could help them, it wasn't resonating with them. Your words have so much meaning. This is why even if your product, which is you're in the gym, you're building the business, you're on your purpose, you're doing the things you need to do, even though you're rock solid, you have to be able to pitch yourself. And when you find out what your big why is, now it's time to take her big why that she has, why she doesn't want to give you the phone number, crush this with a hammer by reframing. So frame or express differently, reframe her big why to make it so this becomes non-existent. How do we do this? Well, we do this by selling her. We're going to sell her a various amount of benefits and beliefs that come along with us. We're selling her on potential wants/needs that she would want, and we're reinforcing that she's making a good decision by following through with it. This is the thing. Women are indecisive. They're going to go, oh man, is this the right decision? Should I really give my number to the guy? Is he just going to try to fuck me? Is he going to try to fuck me and then fuck all my friends? Is he a player? Do you think he's one of those just fake, soft, nice boys? Oh my God, is he kind of ugly? I think he's kind of hot. I think he's kind of fat. I think he's kind of hot. I think I want to fuck him. You got to understand, this is how women think. They are so backwards. They are so emotional up and down. They have no idea what they want. It is your job to bring the masculine stability. You're reinforcing that she is making a good decision. You're adding confidence to this decision. You're adding confidence to this interaction. Look at how I'm speaking to you right now. I've taken 17 minutes and 9 seconds so far recording, telling you that we're making a good decision by reframing. And guess what? By the end of this call on this module, you're going to have a lot of belief that you're doing the right thing by reframing. And now that you have belief in your good decision, guess what's going to happen when you're around this woman? Well, she's going to like you. Now, let me get back to the original here. Reframing. Selling on her potential wants and needs. The reason why this is underlined and in red is because we don't care about your needs. We don't care about your needs or your want. It's irrelevant. We know you think she's hot. We know you think she has white teeth and looks really cute. We know that her legs are super curvy and you wouldn't mind probably piping that. I'm right with you. I love hot women just as much as you like hot women. However, she doesn't care that you like hot women. She cares about what she wants. So we're going to sell her on things that she would want. So she should be hesitant. She should tell you no, because nothing makes you fucking special. There's nothing special about you. I don't care if you make $100,000 a year. There's people that make $1 million a year. I don't care if you make $1 million a year. There's people that make $20 million a year. I don't care if you got a 4-pack. There's people that have a 6-pack. If you have a 6-pack, there's some people that have an 8-pack. And there's some people that are Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, there's always somebody better. There is nothing about you that makes you special. You have to get this through your head, and you have to understand reframing so that way you can sell her and you can beat her objections and her big why. Now, how do we reframe? You understand the beliefs and principles of reframing. How do we do it? When you know her big why, this is exactly how you reframe. You tell a feature plus a benefit, and then you add a which means statement. This is the key. If you need to screenshot this, if you need to write this down, write this down. You have a feature, something that comes along with you, featuring this. You have a benefit of what comes with this feature, which means is a statement that shows her that this interaction between you and her, which means you guys are going to have a lot of fun, yada yada. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So what is a feature? Feature, this is something cool that is unique to you or something that only you know about. It's something that you have to you, a certain skill set, a certain motorcycle, a certain way of riding bike. Maybe you have a secret trail, a secret coffee shop, a secret hike you like to go on. Okay, a distinctive attribute or aspect of something. If you look at sales, this has safety features like dual airbags. You can picture the person on television saying it. Okay, it's something unique to you. So if we move to the second part, what is a benefit? A benefit is something she will receive emotionally by participating in the interaction or giving you the phone number. Something she will receive by doing this, an advantage or profit gained from something. The benefit, something she will receive emotionally that is positive in the interaction by giving you the phone number. What is a which means statement? It's something that is positive and uplifting that both of you are going to share together, which means two people are really going to get along and love each other and have a great time. Okay, you get what I mean here. And I'm going to show you the right way to work the words, and it's late when I'm recording this. It's almost 11 o'clock, and I'm super tired, but bear with me here. I want to get this content to you, and I think I'm on a high right now explaining this. I feel good. This is when you paint a picture of what the future of your guys' life or interaction or date potentially could be. This is where she should get butterflies because she's about to have a good experience if she does this with you. Let me show you an example. So she says, well, I don't want to give you my phone number because I really just feel like I don't really know you that well. And you say, Sarah, that's totally fine. You don't know me well. And I totally understand, like we just met. And I understand that, but here's the thing. People typically like new experiences. And you got to say, hey, Sarah, I know this really amazing park with very peaceful scenery. And guess what? If you come along on this with me to this park, guess what's going to happen? The cool thing is that you'll essentially just get to hang out with a really cute guy for an hour, and it's probably been a while since you've done that. I mean, I'm not going to judge if it has or hasn't, but that's what's going to happen, and that means that there's a chance that you could actually meet someone that you vibe with super, super well. And then what I do, fellas, so that was kind of my pitch. Like, this is what I would say, something along those lines. And it doesn't have to be exactly like that. Like, this is one example. But there's the feature, the amazing park. The benefit is that she gets to hang out with you, a cool guy, cute guy, whatever you want to say, a guy that, you know, will mesh well with her, whatever. And which means that there's a chance that you could actually meet someone that you vibe super well with. This means you could potentially have, you could say, hey, we could potentially be soulmates, which means that we're probably going to have a lot of fun. And guess what? You're probably going to be hitting me up every Friday and Saturday now to hang out with me. Okay, whatever you can show here to have some confidence. And then I like to follow this by poking fun at her statement. So then when I poke fun at her, I would say something like, Kayla, like you would essentially be crazy to say, or sorry, I was using the word Sarah up there. Sarah, you'd be crazy to say no, right? You're actually kind of scaring me that you don't seem very adventurous. Like, I've never met a girl who's this hesitant to go on a hike and like hang out with a cute dude. Like, what's wrong with you? Okay, this is how I would frame it. This would work perfectly. All of a sudden, it looks like you have a little bit of game to you. You got a little bit of swag to you. You know something cool that people don't know about. You know this amazing park. And you know the cool thing about you, the benefits that go along with those features, and you can add your which means statement, so that way you can now paint a picture in her head of what this looks like. Bingo, you're game. Like, you're gaming. This is game in and of itself. This is like a pure form of true game. Now, these features and benefits plus which means statements are lethal. And here's a couple more examples you can see just to show you how good they actually work. So one of them, you could say that, hey, I know this super good coffee shop, and I might want to take you because it's super chill and laid back, which means that we're probably going to have a lot of fun. And since I never met a cute chick that didn't like cute boys, I kind of feel like it would be a no-brainer. Okay, there's your feature, the coffee shop. It's super chill and it's super laid back. There's your benefit. And then your which means statement is that we're probably going to have a lot of fun. And then we're poking fun at her at the end. Since I never met a cute chick that didn't like cute boys, I kind of feel like this is a no-brainer. Why are we saying that we're cute as well and not just her? Because we're not pedestalizing her. We're essentially telling her that we think we're attractive in and of itself. That shows confidence. Here's another one. You could say something like, so since I have a crotch rocket, and since cute chicks seem to always like motorcycle rides, if you're the adventurous type, it probably means that you'll have more fun in 30 minutes than you've had all week. You know, it can be a good little stress reliever. Like, come on, Kayla, you know you need a little stress reliever. You know you'll fit good on the back seat of that crotch rocket, Kayla. What the fuck are you... What are you trying to act like you don't want to do this for? Like, give me that number. Come on. Okay, right there, that in and of itself. Obviously, it's hard because I'm reading lines because I thought of these as I was like doing this, and I'm a hell of a lot better just on the spot. I'm a very good on the spot talker, and that's how you got to be too. You get into flow state when you're talking, and all of a sudden it's like things just come to you because you're used to doing this. This is the method I would stick to at all times. Feature plus benefit plus which means statement. This is how you get around most of her objections. So this works with sales. Like, it's not just women. Everything in life's a sale. Like, look at, here's the thing. If you're selling a drill, like, look at this, John, you want the Craftsman drill because it comes with 3 rechargeable, excuse me, I can't talk, because it comes with 3 rechargeable battery packs and has more power to screw in screws with ease, which means the wife will never be nagging at you to hang those shelves again. Every fucking thing in life is a sale. So stop finding excuses to not push through the pressure, because nobody owes you anything. Women don't owe you a yes. Nobody owes you a yes just because you think you have game now because you're in Blueprint. The boys in Blueprint, like, this is about taking action and then like evaluating what the fuck works and what doesn't for you. This is not about some fill in the blank lines, because like that's not how life works. People are people. You need to raise her attraction through actually showing you're a quality man. Look at this though. This is how sales is right here. What's the feature? 3 rechargeable battery packs. Boom. Feature. What's the benefit of having these battery packs? It has more power to screw in screws with ease. Sweet. Now, what does that mean? That means if I'm a 45-year-old man, my wife will never be nagging at me to hang those damn shelves again. Bingo. John wants the fucking Craftsman drill. Okay? Like, this is the best way I can relate it to you guys. Now, I'll just make another one here. Like, you may still get a no. I'm not going to fuck with you and tell you everything in life's foolproof. Like, you can have the right game with a girl. Like, the fact is, like, she might just be polite and she doesn't know how to really tell you no. She maybe just doesn't find you attractive. But if you can do this, if she finds you attractive and she's just testing you a little bit here, this right here is lethal. This will help you get around more objections, and if she even has more objections after that, you can just keep finessing those words and making her laugh, and eventually she'll say something like, do you gotta answer to everything? Do you gotta come back to everything? You say, well, Kayla, hell yes I do. Like, can't you tell? This is exactly what you do when she rejects you on the open. Okay, so when it comes to locations and approaching, men really kind of struggle with this because they think that you need to have a certain style for, you know, the day versus the night, or you have to have a certain style for in the bar versus at the grocery store, or they think that they need to bend as a human to actually fit the situation. But what I want to kind of invite you to do is I want to invite you to really think where, when, and why. Okay, so if you think about these three things, where, when, and why, what you realize is this. What I really want you to figure out first is the why. So, why are you approaching a woman? Is it because you want companionship? Do you want sex? Do you want a wife one day? Do you want a girlfriend? Which is why in the beginning of this intro, I needed you to actually articulate what type of women you like. What is your why? What is your reasoning? Do you want to be a father one day? Like, do you want just companion for love so you're not lonely? Because if you can articulate this, well, now you can actually articulate where. Okay, if you're trying to get sex, you are not going to try to go get sex at the fucking grocery store. So you're going to go to a bar or a club where sex is usually predominantly happening. So now where? Now you get to ask yourself, where are you going to find the type of women that you actually like with your why? Okay, so depending on which women you enjoy being with is where you want to actually connect with them in a social setting. If you like shyer, more introverted, intellectual girls, you're going to want to go to like a Barnes and Noble, right? And like bookshop. And when you're book shopping, just part of your life, you're going to maybe run into a girl that fits your bill of the type of woman that you like and want to be with. Another version of where could be like a bar. Okay, if you're at a bar or a club, that might be a spot for sex. Or another place might be like a social event for business. Okay, now you're going to get more professional type women. So I highly advise you to ask, what is your why? And then where would you meet that type of girl that fits that bill? And then you can figure out the when. Then you can figure out when you have downtime to actually either do these dates or see these women or even come in contact with these women to strike conversations in the first place. Okay, this is key. These are the things that most men simply do not do, is the locations and approaching logistics. Now, I'm going to bust this down into two separate categories. Okay, the first is during the day when speaking to women. Now, during the day speaking to women, what you have to remember is that your goal of that interaction is going to be, by the end of it, to get her number, to get her to like you enough to where she's comfortable to actually give you her cell phone number. Do not take an Instagram, do not take a Snapchat, don't take any of that shit. If she tries to offer you that, that means you did a really bad job. She's not that interested, and the fact of the matter is that she's trying to make it so that way she can appear nice without actually giving you her cell phone number. Do not try and sit in these long interactions. You're in for pain. Okay, if you sit in these long interactions, what that's going to signal to a woman during the day like that is like you probably don't have a lot of things going on. So we're men on a purpose, right? We got shit to do besides talking to women all day. So what I advise you to do is I really advise you to do this. Okay, just sit in the interaction for the length of time that feels necessary to do what you have to do. Right? If that takes 5 minutes, so be it. If that takes 10 minutes, so be it. But remember, it's going to be dependent on what your goal of it is. If your goal is sex, because this is a big thing for some men. There's some men who aren't spiritually aware. There's some men who aren't religious. There's some men who just want to pipe women. Okay, that might be you. If that is you, then the length of time that you have to probably do that at a bar is going to be anywhere from probably 20 minutes in the interaction at minimum. Yeah, the fastest I've ever slept with a girl back when I was kind of in my party days was in like 40 minutes after meeting her, to probably 3+ hours of you sitting and talking and flirting. Eventually, then you're going to get her home. Okay, if your goal is to find a wife, or actually if you're trying to find a wife, you're actually just trying to find a girlfriend at the time. Like, let's say you're trying to find like a girlfriend who probably isn't like into partying or something, or you're trying to find one who has just like more kind of traditional values. I'm just making up examples. Let's say you find her at like a Barnes and Noble in like the book section of like, I don't know, spiritual awareness or something. Okay, you can strike up a conversation with her, and that could be anywhere from like 5 to 25 minutes. If it's 25 minutes, like there might be like a Starbucks in there. You could get a drink with her or something like that. right? But don't try to go on like these insta dates like some of these guys do and try to really just spend a bunch of time with these women. Do what you have to do that feels natural in the interaction, right? Because the whole premise of this is going to be to pull for a number and then meet up at a later date. So that way there's some type of connection and history. If you're doing this means that by the end of the night you're just looking for a quick thrill and you probably don't care if you see her the next day. So you need to really articulate what it is that you want. And during the day, speaking to women, just sit in the interaction for the length of time that actually feels necessary to get your point across until she's comfortable with you. Most men do not even approach at all. So the thing is you're really doing good here by separating yourself from the mass majority of men. Now, some men have the opposite problem. Some men are really scared to sit in the interaction at all. They want to walk up really fast, like maybe make a flirtatious line or two, and then just get the number and leave. And that's not enough comfort building to even make her feel safe a lot of times. You have to do what feels natural. Don't be scared to hang out for a few minutes and get to know her, but also don't make it look like you have nothing going on that whole day. Basically, what I want you to do is I want women to kind of just accompany your life and not be the focus. Because if you're focused on getting them, you're never going to get them. That's why a lot of men who are bar dwellers, they go from bar to bar every single fucking weekend. And the thing is since their energy is so low, since they're so negative with how they view themselves, since they just view themselves as such low value and that they just want women so bad and they pedestalize women, they start to get this negative energy, this negative demeanor about them. You can tell they're sad, you can tell they're depressed, right? And the thing is with them, they never have success. They don't have success because they don't have these areas in their life mastered. They don't have good social skills. They're nervous to sit in an interaction for more than 30 seconds. It's like you have to be congruent and comfortable enough with yourself as a man to even put yourself out there in the first place. So when you do put yourself out there, you better be damn sure that your energy's not off. Okay, so in the day like that, she needs to get a gauge on who you are before you ask for the digits. Because remember, anybody can get a girl who is interested in them. But it takes a special type of guy to raise a girl's interest and be the one who approach first and make her like you. Now, here's what I want you to always remember. We as men need to look at this whole situation as giving without expecting anything. Because you see, most men try to take a number. You're trying to take something in the interaction without giving a solid interaction first. This is so key with this module. Your goal is just to give her an experience. Have a genuine interaction with her. Have a flirtatious man-to-woman interaction that's sexual, that's edgy, that's flirty, that makes it so she's comfortable. A solid interaction is what you're giving her. You're giving her an experience where by the end of the interaction, you left her feeling as if her day was just improved. Okay? If her day was improved, what's going to happen is that she's going to feel amazing. If you just go there and you have an agenda where you just think she's hot, you're going to try to take her number and then leave, well, guess what? You just took the number without giving her anything. And guess what? She's probably not going to give it to you. It's the law of reciprocation. If you give first, she will be willing to give you the number. And that's that's basic logic. If you look at a charity organization, right, the charities where there's this one charity where they have little girls that give people flowers. And the act of reciprocation is so powerful. When the girls give the family a flower, reciprocal would mean that person would then give them money. And it makes their conversions for their charity like 65% higher. Okay, if you can give first before taking, you win. Because you got to ask, why should she give you the number if you do not convey any fun or flirtatious gesture or emotion to her? Because you got to remember, like, women are sexual too. She doesn't want boring conversation. She doesn't want you beating around the bush. If you actually went up to approach her, you're obviously there for a reason, so you might as well just get to it. Now, during the day, like I said, keep it brief. High value men have shit to do, and for the love of God, I put do not do this whole insta date thing. I don't know if you guys watch dating gurus on the internet. You see a lot of dating gurus where they're trying to like just meet a girl on the streets and pull her and like try to go on a date and like get to know her right away. Okay, that shows you got nothing going on. So keep it fun, keep it flirty, flirt with the idea of potentially meeting up in the future. Don't just give all of your game away right away. Say that, it might be fun if I could get to know you in the future. We might have a good time. We seem like we would be a good fit. If you can say things like that, keep it fun, keep it flirty, you seem like you would be a good fit with me. I tend to like women like you. Maybe you can show me if we can have some fun sometimes. Something like that. You keep it amazing. And that's what you have to do. Okay, you do not want to just start pulling her right away. I want you guys on your path and vision and purpose like 24/7. Now, here's the thing. If you get the number and it goes good, do not text her like instantly the next hour. And here's where I differ from most dating coaches and whatnot. Most men want really hard rules right here, such as like text or call after XYZ hours. The shit does not work like that. Because in real life, there's no instruction manual. There are no rules. You can do whatever you want. And women need to complement your life, not be the focus. So listen, a text or a call is strictly to set a date. You're not trying to be her boyfriend. You're not trying to talk to her all day. And even if you have a woman like that you are interested in and that you are potentially dating, if you just show that you're so willing to constantly be at the beck and call, she's going to lose attraction. You need to be on your purpose. Tell her that. Tell her you have stuff to do so you can't text all day in the future. There's no rules, but what I want you to know is like use the phone as necessary. If you don't need to be on your phone, you don't need to be texting her all day. She has a life too, and you need to be separate. So here's what most men do. Most men, let's say they get the number, and most men do this. They text right away. They go, hey, like great meeting you. When are you free? They just get right to it. When are you free? Like trying to link up and get the date so fast, so needy, so desperate for this date right here. Most men will also be the type where they're going to text her, hey baby, every single morning. They're going to text good morning every day. They're going to text good night every single day. They're going to be these guys that constantly keep the Snapchat streaks going. They're going to be the guys that constantly reply within 5 minutes. All of this just shows that you have nothing going on and that you have no options. And if you did have options, you would have had the date because she can tell by your gestures and by your mannerisms. If you guys are new to this for a little while, you might even have to act as if. Okay, act as if you're used to this. Act as if you're used to things like this happening to you. It's going to really, really help you out. But there's no rules. Don't make it seem like there's an agenda to your texting. Like, oh, I waited 2.5 hours. Now I'm ready to say, hey, like it doesn't work like that, man. Now, when approaching women, the worst thing possible is when you look weak or needy. Like weak, needy, like you need her approval, you're scared, you're timid. You need to really make her like you. It looks like you are low value and it looks like you're soft. Now, you got to remember this. Attraction is fun. Okay, this needs to be really fun. Which means you can't have that negative energy I was talking about. If you're weak and needy and you look like this is your first time approaching putting yourself out there, and by all means, there's a learning curve to speaking with women. The first few, you're probably going to fuck up. But like women are fun creatures. I love hanging with women. You got to love hanging with women too. If you can look at it as like, these are women who I want to complement my life and it's normal and natural that we have fun and I want to hang out with them, it makes the interaction so much better. It makes it fun and it makes you come from a confident standpoint. And this means that you need to be in a good mood because nobody gets the girl when they're pissed the fuck off. And I've lost women in the past from not doing this. Like I've had bad days with work. I've had bad days with, like women in the past, or like what it would do is I would go out and it would throw my energy off and they could tell I was spiteful or I was pissed off or I didn't have very high energy to where I seemed very upbeat or I didn't see. And notice being upbeat is not the same as being just nice and super needy. But you got to have positive vibes where it looks like you're happy. Okay, people don't like pissed off, sad people. So if you have any of this drowning on you, if you feel low value, if you feel confident, if you have low self-esteem, that's going to show. You're going to look sad. The best way not to get sad is to start doing shit that sexy, attractive, strong people do. That's why you go to the gym. That's why you build your brand. That's why you build your body. You get the charisma on point. You stop eating the bad food. You stop drinking alcohol. You fill your brain and body with positivity. You stop watching TV. You stop watching pornography. You stop touching yourself. All of this works. Now, here's the deal. Like I said, you will only be in a good mood if you're on your purpose. If you're not focusing on work and the hustle and leveling up and ambition, you do not have a lot of masculine drive. You're going to have nothing to be happy about. This right here is the most important. You're not going to have anything to be happy about, because all the things right here that makes you a man, that makes men masculine, masculine ambition, masculine drive, you're not showing, you're not doing, which shows in your tonality, it shows in your mood, and it shows in your confidence. And life is a game, so you might as well just fucking win it. Okay, because men who are calm and collected will win, because this will start to actually come so natural to them. Like, they got some natural swag to you. If you're starting to really like feel yourself up here, like you're feeling yourself, you're on your grind, you got that ambition back, you're going to have an extra little spring in your step. When you talk to that girl, you're going to feel like you're allowed to throw out the kind of edgy, flirty remark. Even if your friends aren't like that, you got to start to be that 1%er that does things differently. That's the only way to get the women that most men can't get. Now, if you compliment right off the bat, so like let's say you give a compliment to her, like, "Hey, you're cute," which is very normal and very natural. Okay, it's very normal to give like a compliment at the beginning of an interaction. This is a stranger, remember? I need you guys to give a little pull with it, because if you're the type of guy that just compliments right away, you just might kind of get like "Oh, that's so sweet, thank you, but I have a boyfriend." Right? Because there's nothing edgy about that. There's nothing seductive about that. You just basically told her how amazing she is. You validated her, which is okay. At least it shows some like intent that you're okay with being like that with her. But the problem is this: most times the angle. But here's the problem with that. Most times the angel exterior is a little wild at heart. Remember, like, she's a girl. She likes the emotional spikes. Do not be just another guy giving her all the validation and throwing your power away. What you have to do is you have to follow it up with giving her some ways specifically to engage with you. What I mean by this is this actually helps you prevent being like socially awkward with women. Because even though she's like that angel exterior and she's wild at heart, you could say something like this. You could be like, "Hey, you're a pretty girl. I want to meet you. You're cute." But then you could go, "But what's scary is you kind of look like my ex, and she was like a complete psycho. So please prove me wrong." And you could say it fun and flirty. And what that did is that gave her like an emotional spike up here, and she's sitting there going, "What the fuck? Like, who is this guy?" And she's gonna want to be like, "Oh, what the fuck? Like, what was your ex like?" And then you're gonna be like, "Oh, I wouldn't want to talk about that." Be like, "Is that normal just to talk about that with a random stranger?" She'd be like, "No, it's not fucking normal." Okay, you get like, there's some roller coaster to it. And you might think that sounds dumb, and it probably does sound dumb, because I can't just articulate an interaction off the top of my head. I don't know what she's going to say. You're not going to say it. You're not going to know either. All these guys that tries to formulate pickup lines, that doesn't work either. Because like you can't stage an interaction. You can't can an interaction. It all has to come natural. Now, like I said, make the interaction just last as long as it needs to. If you need to talk to her for 5-10 minutes before you ask for the number or anything like that, that's cool and normal. By all means, do it. And if she likes what she sees and she has the time to give, she will give you time. You got to remember this. Women typically, first and foremost, value their relationship over anything. Women value men's validation and approval over anything in life. They're not work focused, and they're not as ambitious as men. They do not have male drive and male testosterone. That means she values finding a companion. Women put finding a companion like at the top of their to-do list. That's why there's so much pressure on them to get married, because they feel like a failure if they didn't. Now, what you have to do, fellas, you have to literally get the fuck off social media. Okay, like, there's women all over. You just don't see them because you're constantly have your nose buried in the goddamn cell phone. They're at grocery stores, they're at malls, they're at gyms, they're all over. So what you got to remember is this isn't pickup artistry. I'm not teaching you how to be a pickup artist, and you probably noticed that by now, is because I'm not giving you a bunch of lines. And even in my modules, this is where I struggle at delivering my information, because I have to really think about this, because for me this comes so natural. Because I'm a big believer that if a man does the work, he radiates a lot of these things naturally. But for you guys that want a little tactics and some know-how, I get you want that quick result. You want to get a course, you want to buy a course, and you want the result to come. So I get that. But you got to realize you got to just be a normal guy. Like, attraction is natural at heart. People have been having sex and hooking up, or like getting married and having families for thousands of years. So your brain knows how to be attractive. It probably just doesn't have to right now because you're stimulated with a bunch of porn and a bunch of shit on your cell phone. And everyone's brain is just fucked right now. That's why they have their nose buried in the phone when there's women all around them, but nobody talks to each other. You probably see that. Nobody talks to each other. Nobody says hey anymore. Nobody talks to anybody. So what I want you to do is I want you to really start to tell her what you want in a girl, or what you want her to be. Remember, there is no good girls and bad girls. There is just women in general. That's why I always love these phrases. I like girls who are XYZ. You seem like the kind of girl who is XYZ. And like, just talk with her. Make it normal. Talk with her. Just talk. If you say, I like girls who are XYZ, if she likes you and thinks you're hot, she's going to want to be that bill. Or you seem like the kind of girl who's XYZ. She's going to dig for more information to see if XYZ is good in your eyes. Because here's the thing, if deep down you don't care, like deep down you don't really care where she's from or where she went to school or what her occupation is, yet you just keep asking 20 questions. You're just attracted to her. So stop beating around the bush. Just let these things happen. Just start talking and acting like attraction is natural, because you are the man and you're in control. Notice I keep saying this. The whole theme of this course is getting men to take their masculinity back. You are in control. It might even sound like I'm shouting at you, I'm being a dick, but it's like, dude, you are in control. Now, here's the difference between day game and night game. Night game is literally the exact same, except night game, if you're in hookup mode, is even kind of more awesome because you get more time to talk. You get more time to be fun and energetic and learn her personality. Now, the guy who wins with night game is literally just the guy who can cut out all the noise and the distraction in front of him and focus on what is 6 inches in front of her face. Check this out. This is night game. A big clusterfuck of shit. A big party. You got bartenders over here. You got loud music surrounding the whole thing. You got people all over. Maybe you got a dance floor, right? So let's say in this whole room right here, there's 200 people, right? And everyone's loud and crazy. And then right here's you. And right here's the girl on the dance floor. And let's say you can cut out all this noise. You can cut out the bartender. You can cut out everybody else on the dance floor. And you can literally zone in right here. Laser lock eyes, laser lock that masculine energy. Get her to really feel what it is that you're doing. Build some connection quick. If you can cut out all the bullshit and get back to human, just one-on-one, oh my God, that is when you're going to crush it. Because most guys buckle under pressure at night. It's too loud and it's too rambunctious and they cannot take it. There's too many people and they feel awkward. They feel out of place. They feel like everybody's staring at them. If you can just make it just you and her right here, and you're the only ones that matter. If you can get her in that mood too to block out all the noise, because trust me, she's nervous too. She had to take 4 shots of vodka for a reason too. She's scared and she's nervous. So share that nervousness with her and make her feel safe with you. You're the man, you're the leader, so lead her through that time. That is the difference with night game. The guy who can get her to focus on what's 6 inches from her face is the guy who wins. Now, step 1 to night game. There are no rules. If the interaction is going good, you have no reason to leave. Step 2, get cocky. Okay, just a little. Because you're entitled to whatever you want. Remember, if you're putting in the work to be a 1%er, you got to stop selling yourself fucking short. Because most guys do this. Most guys sell themselves way too short. Now, Also, stop identifying yourself. There are no introverts versus extroverts. There's just men. Like, dude, you're a dude. You're a man. You're a flesh and blood. You're a man. You have balls between your legs. Just act like a man. Act like a strong, masculine man. Because women are out to have fun. Remember the emotional spikes. This means they're out with their girlfriends. They want to dance, laugh, drink, shake their ass. This is okay. This means just be a fun guy. So here's the problem. Most men get so caught up in their head about the whole friend group. They think, what if the friend group doesn't like me? What if I'm awkward? What you have to remember is that the whole friend group all wants to get hit on. If you pick one of the friends, all the friends are probably jealous because they wish they would have got hit on. And there probably is one hot friend who always gets hit on more and makes the other ones pissed. Which means fuck the friends. You still have to be kind and respectful. But dude, do not let some females try to run your strong, dominant, masculine brain from getting your girl. If that's what you want, your job is to get what you want in this life. Because you're strong. Now, here's the rules to engaging with women. Just engage the whole group. Okay, don't be rude. Give everyone a little bit of attention. Do not be sex focused. So don't try to look like you're trying to single out one friend to take her home quick. Be fun focused. If you're fun focused, you can make it so that way you're giving instead of taking, which I think was in this slide right here. You're giving a solid interaction instead of taking, which means that to the entire friend group, you're now giving instead of taking because you're trying to have fun. It's all about solid interactions. If at the end of the night sex happens, great. If not, dude, you were focused on the wrong things from the get-go. Now, the 3 ways to escalate during the night, you get to pick, man. I mean, you can pull for a number, you can pull for a location change and try to just get her one-on-one so that way you guys can have some fun together. Maybe you can go get pizza, maybe you can go get drinks. Like, I'm not in control of your life, you're in control. Or you can try to get sex. You can try to, if you guys talk for 3-4 hours that night and she's shaking your ass and grinding on her, I mean, you got to remember, I don't know what your morals or what your beliefs are. And that's why I typed this right here. What I'm saying is this: if women go out at night and you're a guy who's out at night, like, people who go to bars typically hook up. And like, these women don't dress up and look hot for nothing. So don't act surprised if she wants sex and if you're doing everything right and she wants sex and you're trying to find a good girl. Like, you got to remember, the location of where you're trying to find these women is going to say something about their personality. So you have to actually be calibrated enough to gauge the situation. If you want sex, like, yeah, you're going to have to try to pull for that. And that's the type of girl you're going to get, though. You're going to get a girl who sleeps around. You're going to get a girl who goes to bars. You're going to get a girl who's a club girl who's toxic. Like, it's not my type. Maybe it's your type. I'm a 1%er, so I want 1% women. But this could be like, I had my stage like that too. But you got to remember, like, where you're finding these women is key. And that's why we went back to the board originally. Like, I put this out. I go, where, when, and why. Why do you want, like, why do you want this? What type of girl do you want? Where are you going to find them at, and when? And that's going to be the differences between day game and night game. That's going to be the differences in what type of woman you actually get. So I want you to be human focused. Okay, if sex happens for you, great. But if not, you are not dependent on the outcome, and that is why you will win. Hi, everybody. So one of the questions that I get a lot as far as escalation is, men oftentimes wonder, how far do you push it with a woman? Like, when is the seduction too far, or how do you know if she's comfortable? What I advise all of you to do is A, push as far as she's comfortable. Escalate as far as she will let you and as far as she feels comfortable with. If you throw a couple flirty gestures and she's okay with it, and then you level up the next gesture where it's something more sexual, right? You're starting to talk more provocative, more sexual. If her mood changes and she doesn't really want that from you, or she starts to get turned off by that, well, that means that it's time to probably taper that back and tone that down. You know, it probably means that you have to go back and you have some work to do with her to actually get her comfortable in that state. So just escalate as far as she will let you. and as far as you're comfortable with. But what you have to remember is don't be timid with anything you say. Okay, you got to have just a little bit of bass in your voice. You have to feel like you're the shit. You have to feel like you're the man. And you got to remember it's all business. Okay, you're there for a reason. You're there in front of her speaking because you want to do XYZ. You want to make sure you can make that happen. So how do you approach a woman? Well, you approach a woman with the complete honesty, because not only is it a line that I like to say and I like other men to say is like, I like women that are XYZ to a woman. It also lets you set the framework of what type of girl you actually like in the first place. See, the whole thing with being a one percenter is I want you guys to be able to choose the women you want to be with, not just waiting for the next girl to approach you, or not just waiting for the next girl to finally hit you up and finally, let you be part of her. So here's what you got to remember, fellas. Like, I don't necessarily know what your morals are. And that's why when you make a course and you have all types of men in it, I can give you the best information possible to make sure that you remain masculine and that you do attractive traits. But here's the problem. These conversations can go a million different directions. It can go in terms of sex. It can go in terms of dating. It can go in terms of girlfriends and relationships. I don't know what your morals are. I don't know what your beliefs are. I don't know what your religious standpoint is. So what this means is that you have to really just be clear with your own intent and what your own value system is. Do not beat around the bush to yourself, and definitely do not beat around the bush with her. She needs to know very clearly what your intent is. And that's how a lot of guys not only get in trouble with Me Too charges and shit, but they also get in trouble with women where they can get totally just turned off and messed up in the long run. Here's what I mean by this. You get a lot of guys that aren't taught how to interact with women. And what happens is they get into the logical, rational brain phase. So they might be hanging out with a woman for 4 or 5, 6 hours. No flirtatious standpoint has been built. No comfort has been built. She doesn't even necessarily want you sexually. She just assumes that she's hanging out with a guy. And then all of a sudden he tries to make a sexual move on her. Meanwhile, he didn't get her turned on. He didn't get her in that mood at all. She ends up feeling violated, and all of a sudden, she ends up feeling violated, and all of a sudden he's in trouble, or she doesn't like him, or she tells him to leave, or she separates with him. And it's just you have to be upfront and honest. If you want sex from a woman, you cannot beat around the bush to try to fool her into having sex with you. If your penis is going to end up in her vagina, you can't really beat around the bush about that. You got to talk dirty to her and tell her that's what you want. Be clear with your intent. There's guys that go on 50 dates to hopefully get sex, but they never end up asking for sex. And then they just get caught up in this nice guy frame. Then there's other guys with true morals where they're like, hey, I want to save myself for marriage, which is fine. But the problem with these guys is oftentimes they're only drawn to the girls who aren't like them. And then they're chasing after women who don't have the same moral beliefs as them. I don't know what it is that your beliefs are, but what I'm saying is this right here. As the man, as you leading the interaction, you must be crystal clear sharp with your intent. You must be crystal clear sharp with who you're talking to, what the woman thinks of you, and you must be clear as to what you want of the woman. Because if these lines get blurred, not only can you end up in a very messy situation emotionally, but you can also get into trouble. What I'm saying is make sure the woman's morals aligns with your morals. Never beat around the bush. Okay, so I've talked about this before. When you escalate as far as she will let you, you cannot have negative energy. And let me tell you this, if you are socially calibrated, you will never get rejected. So in my time, since I started interacting with women, I have never asked for a number when I was unsure about getting it. I've never escalated for sex unless I knew she was ready to hop into bed with me and she wanted it too, or she wanted it first. I also, I never asked to go on a date until it was a 100% sure deal. When I knew I liked a girl and I knew the girl liked me and I could tell that it would be reciprocated, that's when I asked. And guess what? I get a check mark on all these. When I got the number, I got it. When I tried to escalate for sex, I got it. When I asked to go on the date, it was a sure deal and I got it. What I'm saying is that if you have social calibration and you know where you're at every step of the way, that's the key. The key is to know where you're at in the interaction. There's men that are blindsided and they don't know where they're at in the interaction. It's because they're not socially calibrated. You have to be able to kind of gauge her radar. You have to gauge her interest level. You have to gauge her intent level. And be sure of yourself comes from practice and calibration. It comes from social skills. That's why you need to just start talking to everybody. That way you can tell when somebody's sad. You can tell when somebody's frustrated. You can tell when somebody's upset. You can tell when somebody's lying. You can tell when somebody's happy. Like, if you can start to actually read people, and you don't carry this negative emotional baggage with you of constantly needing a woman or needing external validation, and you're actually just confident in your skills as a human, that's when you're going to really crush it. So here's the thing. If you're socially calibrated, you're going to succeed, because most men, they get butthurt when women reject them. So here's what happens with most men. With most men, so if we take a guy, right, and this guy gets rejected. I spell rejected. Fuck, that ain't even in my dictionary. That ain't even in my vocabulary. You have a guy that he gets rejected, right? He maybe asks for the date, and she says no. Or maybe this guy snuggles up with her in bed and he tries to have sex with her, and she turns him down. He gets a big no. Or maybe this guy pulls for the kiss and she turns him down and she says no. The reason why is because he was not socially calibrated as to what her emotional state was, meaning he was not glued into her emotions yet. He did not have her figured out. He did not have her figured out to even ask for the date. He didn't have her figured out to be ready to ask for sex. He did not have her figured out to go for the kiss. And we've all been there before when we were first starting out. You got to remember that in his head, he was probably using rational thinking. And he was like, okay, now I've been with her for 2-3 hours. I can probably go for the kiss. It's like, no. You can kiss her within 20 seconds if you set the mood and you set the flirtatious manner the right way. Like, it's all on you. So then this is a typical guy that gets ass hurt, and now he's spiteful at women. And now he's pissed off and he thinks the dating game is rigged. When in reality, he just didn't have the social calibration to actually give her the emotional spikes of highs and lows to cause her to have interest in him. And because he couldn't get these peaks and valleys right, then he's pissed off. Or then he's beating around the bush. Then he's just trying to act like, hey, even though I want sex, I shouldn't be upfront with it. This practice and this calibration is only going to come from putting yourself in the field. Like, I want to assign homework in this, but I don't even know how to, because it's like you need to be living your life as a social man. I mean, I could tell you to go talk to 3 new people tomorrow, but it's like, okay, you might do it. You might tell me to also fuck off. I hope you do it. I hope you talk to 20 people. I hope you talk to 30 this week. Start talking to people. Because why should you be allowed to escalate? I ask this a lot. Why should she like you? Why should you be allowed to escalate? Because here's what I'm saying. If you have your car together, you got your body together, you got your focus together, you got your money together, you got your career together, you got your passion together, let's take it a step further, and let's even say you have your faith in alignment. So you're either religious or you're spiritual. You have everything together as a man. Health, wealth, well-being. Your body's on point, your money's on point, your faith is on point, your passion's on point. If you have your shit together, you're entitled to pursue whatever you wish. And I can't build this confidence for you. This confidence only comes from doing the work and having your faith in alignment with that. And then once you've done the work, throwing in a flirtatious gesture is like the least of your worries, because you probably already carry yourself as a confident man. You see, most of you guys don't even have a reason to be confident, and that's why you're struggling. So what exactly are you shy, sad, or embarrassed about? Because if you have your shit together, you're just going to win. Now, what you have to do is you have to stop being ashamed that you have a penis. And I know this sounds crazy. You might be thinking, Casey, what do you mean be ashamed to be a man? And when you have men that are ashamed to be men, what happens is they turn into nice guys. Nice guys do not make good men. Now, when I say put in the work, when I say, put in the work, let's say you want to get ahead in life with your career, with your status or anything, there's going to be blocks in front of you. There's going to be people that want to shut you down. There's going to be road bumps and speed bumps in the way that make it so you can't do that. So by putting in the work, you have some authority. You have some bass in your voice. You're no longer ashamed to have a dick. In fact, you start to walk the earth just a little bit more masculine. This confidence only comes from doing the work. Why do I stress this so much throughout all these hours? Because there's no way around this part. Now, here's the thing. Escalating during the approach is easy. It's all the stuff after this week that's hard. It's figuring out female nature and female dynamic. It's figuring out how to keep her interested after. It's figuring out how to make sure she stays engaged after down the road. It's hard to figure out how to have a wife one day and how to make sure things don't go stale. In this program, I'm going to cover everything because I want this to be the best course on dating and on masculinity and on self-development that is on the fucking market. This is what I do is I help men. I help men be better. Now, she wants to feel small. She wants to feel like you are leading her because that is masculine energy. Just like you don't want to feel like a feminine, emotional bitch, she doesn't want to feel like a big, strong, masculine dude. There is roles with this. Stop bleeding into feminine energy. You are not a girl. So when you're talking all high-pitched and raspy, when you're trying to get to know her so much, dude, like, she doesn't feel small anymore. She feels big. She feels like she has equal or higher authority over you, and it makes her lose attraction because you're no longer acting like a true man. It's the polarity and energy that keeps attraction. What I'm saying is you need to make all of the decisions, like all of them. Every decision needs to be made by you because women will just follow. And here's the thing, women hate responsibility. Like, women at the end of the day do not want to be responsible for anything. You're going to notice this. If you get into an argument with a woman, she'll figure out every way in the book to make it your fault. If a woman even cheats on you, she will twist and turn it to give you some reason to make you try to believe that it was your fault. So what men have to do is men have to just take all of the responsibility. Take it all out of her hands. Make nothing on her. What I mean by this, let's say you're going out to eat. Just pick the spot. Don't ask her where she wants to eat because she's a girl. She's indecisive. She doesn't know. And ultimately, she's going to be looking at you going, motherfucker, why don't you just tell me where we are going to eat? Okay, if you're going to a movie, right, how about you, as the man, as the leader, just pick the time and pick the movie that you're going to go to. Mission accomplished. If you want to set up a date, you pick the trail that you guys are going to hike, and you just tell her what time to be ready. Because women like when the guy just tells them what's up. They don't like making decisions, and they don't like responsibility. The more little minute things you can control and take out of her hands, the more she will love you for it. The more times and dates and how the boundaries of the relationship is going, that's the big thing. Many men do not enter into any relationships without boundaries. They enter into these relationships with no boundaries and no masculine guidelines set in place. And then they act surprised when she talks to the ex-boyfriend. They act surprised when she leaves. It's like, dude, you didn't set the framework from the get-go to have her know what type of man you are to fall into. She needs to know what type of road is expected of her if she decides to join this path with you. And that's why so many men struggle today, is because they're putting the responsibility in her hands. And she just deep down does not want it in her hands. She wants you to take charge and to take control. That is strong and that's masculine. Now, remember this. This is about what you want. You have to start being more blunt. You have to start being more honest. And this is something virtually no man does these days. People don't say fuck or shit or bitch or pussy or motherfucker. Or baby, you're looking sexy as fuck, I want to fuck the shit out of you. They don't say that anymore. And because they don't say that, they hide behind the fucking keyboard. And since they hide behind the keyboard, she loses attraction. Start telling her what you actually want to do with her. If you want her to wear the sexiest, sluttiest, scandalous little dress, then you need to tell her that. And granted, this has to be calibrated. You have to know her for a while before you can say something like that. But if that's the type of man you are, you need to start displaying that. because women love a man who is direct and forward. I don't know what your beliefs are, I don't know what your boundaries are, but the more direct and forward and honest you can get with yourself, the better you're going to feel and the more success you're going to have with women. This course should change your life. This course should get you to start interacting in every social setting differently. Now, how far do I escalate? I escalate as far as I want. I want you just to escalate as far as you want and as far as she will let you. Because if you do it as far as you want and as far as she will let you, now there's no miscommunication. If she's not comfortable with something, she will speak up. She will say, hey, that was an inappropriate gesture, or you shouldn't have said that, or that was kind of rude, or she'll say something where, she will make you feel, and that's the thing, is you should be calibrated enough to understand when you need to escalate. Like, I've never went for a kiss with a woman who I couldn't tell we had sexual chemistry where she was ready to kiss me. So don't do moves unless you're 100% certain. Don't embarrass yourself. Don't ask for her phone number unless you can tell that she's liking you and she's going to want to get to know you. Like, have some social calibration. There's plenty of fish in the sea. All right, now this is going to be an extremely short module because, as you can see, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slides here. But I already know that this is going to come up, especially with the men that are not ready and willing to change. And the fact is that your brain will always hold you back. And what this is really about is this is really about reprogramming your subconscious identity, reprogramming how you think and how you view yourself. Now, here's the deal. This is what this little noggin right here is going to tell you 24/7. This noggin is going to tell you, hey, it's bad timing, so don't approach her. Maybe she has her headphones in. Maybe she's with friends. Maybe she's talking on the cell phone. Or your brain's going to tell you, hey, like, dude, you're stupid. This is a bad idea. You're going to make a fool out of yourself. Your brain will literally come up with any reason possible. If she's with friends, you're going to tell yourself it's because she is in a friend group. If she's jogging on a treadmill or if she's jogging outside, you're going to tell yourself it's because she has headphones in. If she's at a coffee shop, you're going to say, oh, it looks like she's on her computer working. I should probably leave her alone. Like, if she's reading a book, you're going to say, I don't want to interrupt her. Your brain will tell you all of this and give you every reason to hold back if you don't catch yourself, if you don't reprogram the identity. Now, this only goes away with practice, because the brain always fears uncharted territory. And I have a perfect example for this to show you. Essentially, like, the easy way for me to say this is don't be a pussy. But I understand where you're coming from, because anything that is uncharted territory is new. You're not used to it. Now, here's what I want to explain to you. I want to explain to you the numbing effect. And the numbing effect is a major key. And this is like a term I just kind of coined, because in life, everything is about how well you can numb yourself. Now, what I'm going to reference is I'm going to reference my YouTube channel. Okay? Here's the issue with my YouTube channel. I YouTubed for a lot of time without any real publicity, and I recently I started to finally gain some subscribers here and gain some publicity. And I've really been working at this for a while, but when you go to the home, what you got to see is that I have literally posted 458 videos. What does that mean? That means that my whole life I had to do things that were uncomfortable. Because when you go to my oldest video from 3 years ago here, my oldest video, I was extremely embarrassed to post any of these. I felt like I wasn't a YouTuber. I felt like I was not in good enough shape to post my fitness videos. I felt like a fraud. My brain had every reason for me not to post. But the thing is that I just kept posting. I just kept hitting play. And it's because when I was in front of a camera, I was not confident. So here's how it is with YouTube. Here's the camera. And right away on the camera, I was just not confident. Okay, so I would talk, I would stutter, I would sound like a bitch, and I started to think, I'm not used, like, this isn't me. I'm not cut out for this. But guess what? I kept hitting play. And eventually my brain, my subconscious brain right here, got numb to the effect that I was a YouTuber. And pretty soon, as I keep hitting play, I would gain my confidence on the camera. And pretty soon, that feeling of nervousness, that feeling of misbelonging, it was gone. Because since now I've been through it with 458 videos, since I've went through the trials and tribulations of having 458 videos to my name, I no longer feel scared. You have to just keep hitting play. Even if you're scared shitless, you got to talk to the girl because you're going to thank yourself you did it after. And the numbing effect is a major key. Eventually your brain goes numb. Your brain's like, oh, this isn't that bad. I've been here before. I've done this before. I'm used to this. So you got to just keep hitting play. So here's the thing, fellas. Like, you're a man. Men are strong. I say this all the time. If you lift weights and you don't drink alcohol and you don't do drugs and you don't watch porn, you eat healthy food, if you read books to fill your brain with good shit and you're strong, dude, the 105-pound blonde girl isn't so scary. Because you've put in the work to kick ass, which makes you entitled to getting this. So I don't care if this girl's on her headphones. She's not going to take your birthday away. And she's not going to chew your ass out. Remember, you're high value, which means you're adding value to her life. It would be wrong of you if you don't approach her. So you deserve a woman that's hot. Because most men can only speak when they're drunk. So your brain and body controls everything about you. So like, your choice to be a badass starts today. And you essentially have to just tell this brain of yours to fuck off. And then you're going to win.
Hi everybody, in today's video I'm going to be explaining specifically how to deal with cock blockers. These are men who see that you're having a good time with a woman, or these are men that see that you're having a good interaction with a woman, and what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to purposefully fuck it up for you. If they purposefully fuck it up for you, here's what you're going to have to do. There's two things to go about this, or there's two ways to go about this. It's gonna come down to the first situation is if it's a social setting. The second situation is if it's one-on-one and you're solo. So there's two ways to do this. So if you're going out in a social setting, the best option to really get around this is to have a good wingman. This is a friend that either you're teaching and brushing him up on some game, or he understands game and he understands masculinity, and he can actually hold some flirtatious vibe and he can speak well. If you have that, that's a fucking prime man to have right there. And you need to be on the same page with him. Like, you guys have to have a verbal agreement that says like, hey, if this happens tonight, this is how this goes down. If this happens, this is how this goes down. If someone crosses us, this is how we handle it. If someone tries to steal our women, this is how we handle it. You have to have this mutual agreement, because this is a mutual agreement that you guys will look out for each other come hell or high water. Now, when I say come hell or high water, the only way you guys are going to know if hell or high water is going down is if you have the verbal agreement that says, hey, this situation might happen. Let's explain this to the fullest so we're not caught off guard. And if you guys are chatting with women and men interfere, here are the steps I want you to follow and the steps I want you to use. So if they are her friends, okay, so if these guys are her friends and they're trying to cock block you, what your goal is to ask their names and start to kill their ego by including them. So here's the thing, if they're her friends, they're already with her in the beginning. And whether they're her boyfriend or not, whether they're sleeping with her or not, you got to be respectful of the fact that these men also probably want that woman too. And if they're quote unquote friends, even though they're probably not getting very far with her, you still got to respect the fact that they know each other and they're there first. Now, if you get mad at these people for trying to cock block you, getting mad shows that you got emotional and were moved off center. So this is definitely something you don't want to do. This is going to come off non-attractive to the women, and this is going to kind of make you feel like a fool too, as you're getting like raged up in public and pissed off. So number two, if they're strangers interfering, meaning these are just this is a person or this is multiple people coming up and trying to just interfere with your interaction, what I need you to do is I need you to assume the authority in the interaction, meaning you need to keep the higher ground and the higher standpoint that you were there first. It's your discussion first. But at the same time, what I need you to do is I need you to keep composure at all times, because he who loses composure is he who starts getting angry, and anger is emotion, and emotion is getting into feminine energy. So no swearing or no getting mad.
The best way to beat cock blockers like this is to kill their ego by not letting it get to you. Okay, if you let people get to you, they're going to see that they can push your hot buttons. So what you're going to do is you're going to explain to them that these women are your friends and that you are wanting to keep the interaction to your closed group. That's all you got to say. You got to say, hey, fellas, it's just us tonight. We're not really looking to socialize, and act as if these women are with you. Even if they're not officially with you, since you're there first, it's your job to be that leader, be that dominant leader, and act as if that's your situation to take control of. Okay, number 3, when you start to do this and you explain to these people that that's your group, you got to realize that you need to engage the wingman too, because there's strength in numbers. So he needs to be reinforcing your point at all times. When you stand the ground and actually assume the authority that the interaction is yours and not theirs, you will have a foolproof system to beat them. Because if you're on the same page as him and he's on the same page with you and he agrees or he nods or he stands beside you as you say that or as he says it, there's strength in numbers. People aren't as willing to fuck with 2 people as they are willing to fuck with 1. Okay, number 4. After that, you got to assume the women are yours. So you just go along with it and you put her in the position where it would be natural for her to just go along with you. So you would say something like, Kayla, you agree, right? We're just keeping to ourselves tonight, right? If she says yes, well, then it looks like she's not even open to them interfering as well. And guess what? If you guys were making a very good first impression and you guys are speaking well, there's a very high chance that she's going to feel obligated, since she just built a few minutes or a few seconds with you already, that she's supposed to be going along with this. So the thing is even if she finds those other guys attractive, there's a very high chance that she's going just to ignore them and go along with you. So the last step I want to tell you is just don't get into a fight, because it's not worth it. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to get assault charges. You don't want to hurt anybody and potentially do a sentence. Like, you don't want any of this. And over some women, like, the last thing you want to be fighting another guy over is for some women.